That's right. Move that
Give me
footrest.
my fucking footrest back. I'm not a beast.
Ring, ring, ring. Hero, Sims, and also Virgins.
Hey, where'd the dislikes go? There's no dislikes.
And welcome back to Sexy Magical Internet Money Cave.
Oh, it's the sexy magical internet money cave today. Oh, how glorious it might be. And we have plenty to discuss as Bitcoin does wrap up the month of November today on the 8 p.m. Eastern Time closure. Except actually that might be 7 p.m. Eastern Time now. I do believe that the Americans have finally had their daylight savings, if that's right. And holy fucking moly, man, Bitcoin playing out the downside move, of which we spoke about on confirmation of a local high from yesterday. And I do expect that that's going to lead into a bit of interesting possibilities coming into early December. Of course, this is really going to be a focus short-term first for Bitcoin for very, very short-term timeframes, what to kind of expect as the title implies over the next 24 to 36 hours. And then we're going to go into some more semi-long-term analysis as we do prepare for the monthly closure. I'm going to turn off the alerts for right now. And holy fucking moly, man, I can already see that we got a big day ahead of us. This is insane. I want to say a major thank you for everyone joining in. We already have 400 likes. What the fuck? There's 1,000 people in here. This is just going up into the moon, and where do we end from here? I do not know. But more importantly, I want to say a major and massive thank you. It's amazing the support on this channel, and I really still am searching for the proper words to express my gratitude for this, as Bitcoin does put in a bit of a local high and probably trades a little bit back down around our prior range lows. Anyways, what else do I want to speak about right here? Oh my god, I also forgot to mention I got a new profile picture on good old Twitter over here. What is this? Is this a punk? No, it's a Dubai people, actually, and it's actually kind of cool, as it does give you some access and some cool things over there. Just wanted to quickly put some eyes on that. Someone gifted it to me, so I wanted to give them a little bit back in return, of course, as well. And then what do we see over here? Let me just make sure that I got everything running well, as I didn't do the early morning setup in the best way that I could. Let me just adjust this right there. Okay, get that screen over there. We got 1,100 people. Holy fucking moly, man. Good morning to everyone out there. I want to say, or at least I want to wish you the best and the happiest, because here we go. All right, let's get into the Krown chain application right now, which can be found at app.krownchain.net. And by the way, it is 100% free, and you can find a link in the description below as well. And what do we see over here? Bitcoin dominance taking a little bit of a leg to the upside, and fear and greed index still kind of also within the more fearful zone at a 33 read for right now. And more importantly, we got down to about a 21 a few days ago, which is extreme fear, to be fair. But realistically, we do look for it to kind of, spend some time within these regions, typically on average, even on some major macro lows within the context of a bull trend. I mean, it's taken, as long as 3 months and as short as about a few weeks. And right now, we're just kind of within that first week territory. So whilst Bitcoin does kind of range on the lows right here, it does look like the altcoins are actually having a pretty damn good day. I see that Ethereum Bitcoin is actually playing out perhaps a macro move, maybe even this week or coming into early December, most likely. All right, the old Pinaroo. There we go. And what's up, Mr. African Crypto Warlord? Good to see you, my good friend. And by the way, that reminds me, Elsa requested yesterday that we do you want me to put out the request for a new mod? Yeah, okay. So Elsa has put out the request that we get at least one more, maybe even 2 more new mods on YouTube. So you know what? this is not gonna work out well. You know what? If that does interest you, which really not much is required of. I mean, just, kind of hang out here and ban people who are weird, basically. That's all they have to do if you happen to be around. Email elsa@krowntrading.net, and she'll run through, and she's going to pick. So then you get to work with Elsa and Crypto African Warlord, and then a few of our other mods who may or may not be here today. I see Jack is here. I see Nikki Page is here. I see who else is here. Oh my God, Luca Hine. What's up, man? Philosophian, there he is. A really fun name to say, by the way. 2717, good morning to you. Christina Maria, I see you over there. The Adjudicator, another fun name to say. And holy man, let's get into it right now. And of course, we've gone over... Oh yeah, I should also let you know that we're gonna make a very hard rule yet again, that we're gonna close all the super chats at 9:30 my time. So that's in about an hour and 15 minutes. We'll update, of course, along the time as well, but we just don't want another situation like yesterday, because I know that it's really, really annoying when people put in chats and then they can't get read just because we're just out of time at that point. Have to do other things within the day. I need to fucking trade at some point too. While I can somewhat do that while on stream here, it's not optimal, to be fair. Anyways, top 10 bets going to see Shiba going to the moon. 24% right there. And that perhaps is a little bit of a harbinger of things to come. Tezos, Stacks, OMG Network, Horizon, Aave, Doggycoin up there as well. Oasis Network, Polygon, and Terra all on the wins list today with at least 5% gains or more. Into the market data tab we go, of which we do have an interesting thing going on right here. So the global funding rate has actually been on a very, very short-term uptrend, obviously on a long-term over the last couple months here, downtrend. So what do we make of that? Well, realistically, this is still par for the course. 0.01% is nothing as far as I'm concerned. But as Bitcoin is within the context of a bit of a daily reversal, well, not necessarily, I wouldn't say it's the most obvious signal, but it would suggest that there's a little bit, less of the hoping that we were speaking about yesterday for the short-term continuation on this bounce. And in fact, it does look like, as a checkout prices right now, $56,000 for Bitcoin, very likely we are going to confirm this one as a local high. In fact, it probably already is, and initiate a move to the downside of the prior range lows. Global open interest still kind of staying staunch around that almost $15 billion mark, which is just fucking insane yet again. And the global leverage ratio also very much up there as well. Now, I want to go to the charts and let's just talk about the short-term timeframes here. Immediately right off the bat, what do we see? We see multiple drives of hidden bearish divergence, as we said was likely yesterday. Now this has been officially confirmed. A couple drives off these last little highs right here, also connected with our last few highs coming in from basically mid to kind of where we're at right now in November. And also coming alongside the 618 Fibonacci retracement on this last little rally attempt within the short-term time frame range. So yes, Bitcoin very likely does come back down, and I imagine fill the gap on good old CME somewhere down around about 54,500 or so. Anywhere down around there is fair game. But I would be looking for a bounce around this region, not just because people are going to be playing the gap fill, which, fair enough. But at the same time, I do look at the daily, specifically on CME, as still okay, especially as long as it's closing above the 55 exponential average in this case. But as far as the lower term timeframes go, yes, there's several confluent factors saying that we do trade a little bit lower from here. We do see that 2-hour Stokes are nose down, face down, ass up right now, below $59,000, of which we did get rejected from earlier, I guess when I was sleeping probably. Didn't see that one full on. But 4 hours also fresh crossing down below 57,700 as well within the next closing period, which is in 52 minutes and 46 seconds. And the hourly I suspect is already way down there. Yeah, indeed it is 57,250. So as long as those conditions are valid, I am looking for this one to pop back down and fill around 54,500 or so. Very likely a bounce around there. And keep in mind that there is a premium on futures over spot price action to the tune of about $300 to $350. So that would imply that spot price action does trade a little bit lower than that, basically around our prior lows from 26th to 27th of November right here. Oh, you're having a little bit of a giggle over there, mate. How are you enjoying that? Anyways, let's go back down over here and let's just see what it would be on spot price action. Yeah, pretty much right down around there. So ideally, if you want a little bit of hopium right here, here would be the hopium essentially, as Bitcoin is still operating on lower highs. I mean, this was actually rather significant with Bitcoin yet again failing to get above 59,500 right here. Well, here's the hopium or let's actually do this on CME, is that we come down, fill the gap, and then put in maybe like an ever so slightly higher low, and then work our way back up. Something like that would be okay. It's not a death sentence to come back down to this region, but for the very short-term time frame traders, yes, I do think that is of relevance to be speaking about right here, as I make sure that everything's working, and everything is working. Okay, good. We're on track right now. That's excellent. I forgot to talk about the fucking sale again. Holy shit. I did it. I did it again. Motherfucker, man. Should we get to that a little bit later? I'm going to get through Bitcoin here first, then we can talk about a goddamn sale. How about that? Anyways, do we see anything on a momentum oscillators that does suggest any sort of caution for this current move on the short-term timeframes? Just going through the hourly, bi-hourly, and 4-hour. No, not necessarily. Again, getting rejected at the bullish control zone, not necessarily the best sign of strength. And we do see that hourly BBWP getting this move actually very, very well. Very low volatility at that high on that test around 58.5 to 59,000 bucks. And we do see that volatility is actually continuing to expand from this region. So I'm looking for continuation of the short-term downside move. And again, this is a downtrend based on all time frames up to technically not a daily just yet, because we do not have a lower high just yet on the daily. So this is why I do suspect that if Bitcoin does come back down, somewhere around that 54.5 level, I would be looking for a bounce there. And still, I do think that this is a trappy area. It's very likely that Bitcoin bounced from this area first before playing out any sort of major failure move below, if that's going to even happen to begin with. I still think that the blue has got hopium here, as we'll discuss on the very high term timeframes. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about the daily right on over here and follow up on this, because I do think that this is rather powerful, not just the weekly, although weekly does look like it wants to come down a little bit lower, to be fair. Anyways, looking at the daily over here, I wanted to once again put eyes on this, the PMARP, of which we have, or sorry, I should first off show you my settings so that I don't get a million goddamn questions about this. But basically, first off, I'm running a line plot type, the PMARP, not the PMARR, and I'm running a 20 length on a VWMA with a 100 look back period. Anyways, as long as you're above the 100 look back period, it's probably gonna be fine. But looking at this right here on the daily for the index, I highlighted the region between about 1 spot 2 and 5 spot 2, of which we have seen historically some pretty damn good bounces off those regions, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish on the long term. And as we went through yesterday, our current bounce based off of this is rather an outlier. So I marked off all of these low reads correlated with these vertical blue lines right here. So I just want to measure out kind of like the first move on these to see what the statistical relevancy of them has been over the past year or so. And we can start off with this last one in September. And keep in mind, it hit the bottom area of this in September 21st, and we really didn't see the reversal until over here on the 1st of October. So it did take nearly 2 weeks, or about 10 days or so. Anyways, that first move up was about 21%, and then realistically we didn't even get a daily consolidation until it was about almost 40% up, all the way up here at about 56,000 bucks, kind of where we're at right now, to be fair. The last time that we saw this, a similar read before then, was of course in the May dumpola on the 19th, and yes, we did hit all the way down around there and get that initial reaction for a bounce of about 44% immediately within the next day or so. Now, of course, the actual reversal did take the next 3 months until we got a bear trap in July, but still of interest for that first initial reaction. Let's move on to the one before that. This one was actually of significant interest because it does, well, if you are bearish, this is kind of what you're looking for right here, where Bitcoin was obviously in an uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, come down here, destroy our last higher low from this one right here, but Bitcoin bounces essentially into a lower high, getting that read. But even on that read, which was, your confirmation of a downtrend, there was a 25, almost 26% move right there into the 618 Fibonacci retracement at 57,000 bucks before, well, the inevitable down move. And then of course the one before that, right on over here, playing out about a 26 to almost 30% move, not bad, or at least I would not think that bad. This one over here, another 40% move, pretty damn good. So we are starting to see a bit of a range between about 25% and 40%. This one over here, an immediate move of about 40% yet again. I mean, realistically, you don't even start to consolidate until like 71%, to be fair. And then the last iteration that we'll go through was, of course, or actually we got 2 more right here. This one, of course, coming in September of 2020, nearly a year ago. Bitcoin playing out about a 35% move to the upside before getting a nice daily consolidation. That one took a long time, about 3 months for that move, just so you know. And then this one over here coming off of the Krown. Oh, fuck! The C word was almost dropped right there. The flu dump. Yeah, the flu dump right there. Anyways, pretty much an initial move of about 60%. And I mean, it just went up into the right essentially from there. So what are we looking at right here? Well, from our current low to our bounce high, how much have we seen once this read was actually confirmed, which was not right there. It was right here, in fact, on pretty much the current lows. And that would be about 10 spot 40%. So very much an outlier, at least in my opinion. Again, make your decisions for yourself, obviously. But we did see on average on the low end 25%, even on trend reversals, and on the upper end 40% plus continuation basically. So if we were to play around with numbers here, what would 25% look like off of our current low structure? Well, that would look like, I would actually look at it at about 67,000%, or sorry, not 67,000%, but 67,000 bucks, which is rather significant. I mean, even just going 20% would probably put us at about 64, and that would actually make me full on macro balls to the moon, bullish. And then of course 40% puts you, all the way in the 70% region or so. So I do want to represent this accurately, because if we are going to see a complex low being formed around here after maybe one more swipe of our current lows, well, what are we essentially going to have? And I very, very rarely call these things out. I very fucking rarely call these things out because I think that they're mostly irrelevant in cryptocurrency land. But in this case, we actually do have one, and that would be, I'm just trying to find a fresh chart right here. Yeah, and we could do it on this one right here. But basically, what do we have? We do have an example of what would be a falling wedge. Started from pretty much our current all-time high. Now, of course, a falling wedge, one of the reasons why I don't like them is because in cryptocurrency land, they have a pretty low hit rate from my experience in my back testing on a daily, especially, actually, or at least a lot less on a daily in comparison to like an hourly, for example, but you probably already knew that. Anyways, still, we would not even have confirmation of a breakout to the upside of it until what? Until we essentially fulfill our lower term time frame condition for confirming a bit of a short-term trend reversal, which would be the same as yesterday, above 59,000 bucks or 59,500 on a 4-hour closure. If one of those two conditions is met, again, after very likely another move towards the downside range right here, then yes, I would call this actually a resolution of that falling wedge. And there are technical targets for this. I do think that this is going to be really aggressive, but typically you do target basically the top side of your formation where it started. So even there, I'm kind of a little bit below it, but that actually would align with that $6,000-$7,000 number, which would be a 25% bounce. And that would be the more bullish and hopium view right now, of course. What else I want to talk about right here is that if you are bearish, you do have a pretty significant setup now, don't you? I mean, you basically got, your lower lows already. You don't necessarily have lower highs on a daily just yet, but any sort of a bounce that gets below $63,000 is, just into the 618, similar to what we saw back on over here in May of this past, of this current year. And, that's kind of where you expect your bull traps to be happening, anywhere around there. So, while I do think that Bitcoin very likely does do something like this, maybe comes back down around there, then pops back up, and then, I don't know, just the old fucking LARP lines. It doesn't need to go like this. Look, price action can take a million goddamn directions. It is in some cases random, but something like this is what I'd be looking for. This would be the bearish view, that you put in a lower high, somewhere right around there, you get your actual daily lower high, and then boom, down we go. And the bullish view would be probably like a pullback, and then actually fill the target, and then, well, trend continuation over the next few months, most likely. Okay, so let's now go in the higher term timeframes and talk about the monthly closure here, because this is actually rather important. So we'll bring up this chart, which I really only talk about a few times a month, actually. So if you're new to this channel, well, just be aware of that, I guess. And this is what I refer to as my fundamental chart. And I have 3 indicators on here. I got the hash ribbons, of which there's nothing to update right there. I got the accumulation distribution indicator, which is what we're going to be talking about right now. And then I've also added the MFI, because that is something that I quite like for flow analysis, just because it's more consolidated. Anyways, looking at this right here for the monthly specifically on Bitcoin, the accumulation distribution indicator, essentially the net delta indicator, does kind of let us know, was there a net buying or net selling within that time frame period. And the reversals on this, sorry, not the reversals, but the slope changes on this. So either positive slope or negative slope, not anything more than that. Not red nor green. Don't care. Don't give a fuck about that at all. Christmas colors are great, but not in this sense right here. I only care about slope, and whatever the slope is typically what we're doing on the macro scale. So downside slope is at best consolidation, and at worst full-on macro reversal. And of course, upside slope is essentially, well, either at worst consolidation, and at best, of course, macro trend continuation. And you can back this one yourself. Obviously, it's not going to be exactly to the T, but it does get things incredibly well on the macro scale. And for right now, we have had actually a negative slope ever since July. Now, since July, Bitcoin has essentially been going up and to the right. But as you do notice on the monthly right here, we are consolidating. I mean, this is just one massive consolidation right here. And I still do kind of postulate the idea that Bitcoin's doing something perhaps like this. Which would imply that, maybe we get another run at the downside of the range. More importantly, though, what I want to see and what would make me immediately bullish for significantly new all-time highs in December would be if we got either a flat slope on the next tick that we're going to get tonight at either 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern time, because I don't know what the actual time is there nowadays. and what would make me extremely bullish would be a positive slope, obviously, and that would imply that we're very likely going to see 90,000 plus. I don't necessarily know if I'd say exactly in December, but probably over the next following months, as we would have a technical formation right here. It is one massive, if I want to pull it out, when in doubt, pull it out, as they say, one massive ascending triangle, as you can see, or maybe I can actually put a proper chart on it. There we go. Something like this, we would have a technical target way the fuck up there. Something like this, what I'd be looking for. Now, you will notice on this right here, I mean, we could still easily play out a move down below $50,000, and be macro bullish on this, and just take a lot longer of a time, which is kind of what I'm still thinking overall. Again, personally speaking, with my own rules, I have to be bearish on the higher term timeframes as long as we are within the context of a downtrend, and specifically on a daily right now. But hey, breaking back above that basically $65,000 number, which obviously would be met, and that condition would be fulfilled if the bullish hopium does play out that we spoke about earlier, again with those triggers and validation conditions in mind, that actually have a measure move basically in the mid $90,000 territory. So start to talk about plan B shit once again. Until then, though, this is still I mean, the daily trend is your friend. And right now, while it's not necessarily confirmed downtrend is set because we do not have a lower high, lower highs are available to you, especially as long as below 64,000 bucks, I would say. So this asset is kind of in limbo right now for especially for the daily trend. Personally speaking, I do think Bitcoin's gonna get one more move down around here. Maybe we're kind of seeing it right now. Very likely give a bounce, and then we're gonna find out whether this thing is truly bullish or bearish coming into December, depending upon the validation or its reaction essentially around that $63,000 to $64,000 territory. Any sort of weakness around there that does confirm a local high, well, I would still keep the open mind that Bitcoin needs to move all the way down, somewhere around 50,000 bucks, maybe a little bit below. I think that's still very much available. It's definitely worth preparing for. And until then, this one still more very, very short term, a little bit of a pullback, medium term, still bouncy. And then long term, well, I'll let you decide for yourself, of course. Now, I do want to bring one thing up over here before let's keep on. Should we talk about the goddamn sale? All right, here we have a sale going on, 20% off of all the programs and everything. Hey, as always, I would just want to get through this incredibly fast because I'm on a fucking roll right here now. And more importantly with this, hey, make sure you watch the promo videos in the store. That will let you know who they're for and who they're not for. I essentially want to disqualify as many people as possible because realistically, most people should not be trading, and realistically, most people don't want to be trading if they actually knew what it entailed. And also, I want to let you know in a more direct sense, look, it ain't a magic pill. While I do absolutely love my programs and indicators, at the end of the day, there's no such thing as a magic pill in trading. And in fact, I'll even give you the only magic pill for free, and that is having a strategy and then back testing it so that you have statistics alongside of it. Oh, that's crazy. Isn't that fucking crazy? And then probably taking about a year to a year and a half in order to get where you likely want to be, which is at minimum profitable. That's what we typically do notice for the people who put in effort. Anyways, all right, great. So we got through all of that. All right, showed my fucking my PFP over there. That's great. And we got over that. Okay, beautiful. All right, let's talk about something else that I think is rather interesting right here, and also does align with a more hopium induced December, I would say. And that, of course, is, as we've been following up on, the Ethereum Bitcoin pairing, which I believe I put out a video either on Elliot's channel or on my channel over the weekend talking about how this pairing on the macro scale has essentially gotten the reversals on Bitcoin, both to the upside and the downside. And as long as this stays bullish, it has been historically more relevant to be bullish on Bitcoin and the greater crypto landscape as a whole. And right now we are once again approaching, like Bernie Sanders, once again, we are approaching the topside resolution of this. It's been baking for the past 6 months. So this is building up a humongous cause, if you're familiar with Wyckoff terminology, which does imply a greater effect. And that will be confirmed on a daily, I believe, above 7.8 million Satoshis, which we are, about 7.87 million Satoshis, or a weekly just closure here or higher. If those conditions are met, which I again suspect that they very likely will be, there is a measure move technical target actually a little bit higher than what I postulated right there. It should be in the 9.4 million Satoshis, in the following few weeks. This looks really, really good right here, to just put it bluntly. I mean, we're essentially seeing a consolidation between the 1.272 as a base and the 1.618 as a as a resistance. Breaking above there, while I would have a technical target around this region, I don't think that things would stop there on the macro scale. I do think that things would eventually work their way up to the 2.272 at minimum, and probably more so around there on a more mega move. So this is rather important. And of course, this is coming into the monthly closure as well for Ethereum. And this is, I mean, dare I say it's looking good. Dare I say it's looking pretty good. And what else would I want to talk about on Ethereum over here as well? Well, I think we alluded to this maybe yesterday, and I've been focusing about this on the Discord specifically as well. But what does Ethereum have specifically on its US dollar valuation? Well, you can see right here that we do have multiple drives of hidden bullish divergence that will be confirmed as soon as tonight at 7 p.m. I believe 8 p.m. Eastern time. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm pretty sure the Americans have had their daylight saving times down, probably at least I hope so. And if that gets confirmed, I'd say that will really edge the probabilities that we actually will see this range resolve to the upside. In fact, I think it's more of a formality right here, to be fair. This looks pretty damn good to me, with volatility on the lows, or at least very, very contracted throughout this whole correction on both the daily and the weekly and the 5-day as well, I'm sure. Yeah, indeed, the 5-day as well here. This is aligning with the likelihood that we are going to see continuation from this region. And we do have already bullish divergence confirmed on the daily. Obviously, that's going to bleed into the weekly, which we see with the 5-day. in the 2-day. The 5-day is going to print, is it going to print hidden bullish divergence? No, it's not actually, but the 2-day certainly, or I shouldn't say certainly, but very likely will, with any sort of a closure, especially today, above 4,400, which would imply another test of our 25th of November highs at about 45.56, and any sort of a wick higher than there, or especially a closure above there, on basically, any time frame, especially if it's like above a 12-hour, I'd say. I would be looking for continuation back up towards basically your prior all-time high, 4750 to 4800, very likely a short-term pullback from there. And then this is your next macro base. And Ethereum's just been doing something interesting here, where basically it likes the round even numbers. Crazy. But where do we see over here? We saw $1,000 tested on this whole stint, which actually did correlate with, I think, our 2017 and 2018 highs. Anyways, more importantly, the next one was about 2,000 on these multiple tests over here. Then the one after that in September was 3,000, got tested multiple times. And now, what do you know? We have 4,000. So it just keeps on marching its way upwards and onwards. Pretty damn good right there. And by the way, Ethereum is particularly interesting coming into this monthly closure as well. Why is that? Because Ethereum's going to have a chance to close above the topside trend band yet again, and that would imply trend continuation alongside volatility expansion. And then, as we'll look at a little bit later, or you probably already know, momentum is also heading the same direction as well, and that condition will be met with any sort of a closure today basically above 4,400. So not only would we confirm hidden bullish divergence on the 2-day, but also the monthly would fill this condition yet again, and this would be your second closure above after a bit of a sideways consolidation right there. The last time we saw like a true trend above the topside Toronto band was over here for from basically breakout to next major high was an 850% move right there. The time before that was this one over here, which doesn't look like much, but it certainly was. This one was about 300%, and the time before that was way back on over here on this mega move for 2,300%. I wouldn't necessarily suggest that that's going to happen from this exact point right here, but if that condition is fulfilled, it's going to be another sort of big check box in the check box machine to check off for the market's looking good overall, or at least looking for continuation. We haven't seen the highs just yet, which I don't think so. Regardless whether you're bullish or bearish on the daily right now, I don't think that Bitcoin's seen the macro highs, but I do think that this cycle is significantly different. And I would even go, perhaps I'll talk about this today on my podcast with Jason Pizzino, but I actually don't think that cycles are really going to be a thing going onwards and forwards from here. So yes, I think I've spoken your head off by now. It's 30-some minutes into this video. I want to say thank you for all the likes on this video. I see that we're already at 1,000 likes. We're at 2,300 people watching. That's insane. Look, I'm blown away. I don't know what to do with this, man. What? And thank you for all. And Elsa says thank you for all the emails as well. Like it's truly amazing. Look, you have to understand that I started this channel because mostly out of boredom, because I was living in my own cave. That's why I was formerly called Krown's Crypto Cave, not the Eric Krown Crypto Channel. And Elsa says because I hated her. No, because I was basically just living in my own little cave, trading by myself. And it's like, okay, this would be a lot better with a community, because then you could like maybe have ideas to bounce off of people for one, or just someone to fucking talk to. Because you have to understand, I also came from a more professional setting where I was actually on the floor and in an office at in a prior life, essentially by this time, where there was always people around me. And one of the fun things about being around those people was just shooting the shit. So it's just wild to see that this place is growing to this levels. Look, I really, really appreciate it. It's fucking insane. And just thank you for being a part of this. And hopefully I can accurately articulate what I'm, the true gratitude that I have for this, because it's definitely been the highlight of my life thus far. Anyways, okay, so I think that we can get on to the alerts right now. I'm going to turn this on for right now. And again, I will warn you that we will turn them off in like an hour from now, but should get that warning out right now, I guess. Anyways, let's see what we got over here. Soul070 says, good morning, sirs. What's up, man? Soul USD versus the hourly and 4 hours. Sure, man. And appreciate you as well, man. All right, let's go check it out over here. Maybe this one is worth recording today or not. And let's see. Okay, so you're specifically asking about the 4 hour and the hourly, so I will not talk about the daily. In this case, you got the same sort of thing going on as Bitcoin, right? You got a bit of a lower high going on here on the 4 hour. You do have some hidden bearish evidence to kind of follow that up as well. However, I would not say that this is actually playable just yet. What I want to see is an hourly closure below your range lows, which you did just test into them. And so far, a bit of a bouncy bounce right there, kind of similar to Bitcoin, bouncing off its range lows off the $56,000 number. But the second that you do start to close an hourly dildo basically below about $200, I would look for kind of a similar thing on Bitcoin, right? Where you come back down, fill around 190 or so, and set up for a nice bounce right around there. likely on the daily. I know that you didn't ask about it, but it is important to kind of realize where we're at in the grand scheme of things, because look, similar to Bitcoin, we do have regular bullish divergence come off that last low. So I actually do think that this, very likely does not see downside continuation before a general bounce first. And of course, what would be interesting on a 4-hour time frame? Well, in this case, where are you getting stifled by essentially this sort of liquid zone right here at about 214.5 above there, even on an hourly closure. Yes, I would look for this one to trade back up towards its prior range highs, 225 to 230 or so, and then come back to it after that. Obviously the daily would kick in after that, and this thing probably does trade up from there, but one thing at a time. And obviously you're looking at much lower time frames than I'm looking at right here, but that's kind of what I'd be looking at. I really only get bearish on this thing again, and when I say bearish, I mean looking for like significantly new lows with a 4-hour closure below about 185. Until that happens, I do think that any sort of a move back down around here very likely does bounce again. Perhaps you don't even see that move to begin with. I mean, let's just go back into Bitcoin. What would be the confirmation that we are going to see that move right here? We did see a closure at 56.363 yesterday. I did say a closure below 56,000 bucks would do it for me. Yes, same sort of structure right here on Bitcoin. First reaction is going to be a bounce, probably, maybe even trades back up towards 57, 58 or so. But the second that we do see a closure below there, I want to see a fill first, and then a quick move back up. That would look really, really good. The good old BART from that area would look rather nice. Anyways, more plates, no dates with a Z's picture. What's up, Z's, bro? How you doing over there, man? Atom USD on the daily and 4 hours. Sure, man. So this is Cosmos, and I don't recall that we've looked at this one in a little bit of time now, perhaps. But let's see. Let's go to the daily over here. You're looking at a daily and a 4 hour. A little bit more on the short-term weaker side. Yes, I do expect that it's probably going to follow whatever Bitcoin does, of course. Let's go down to the 4 hour for what it's worth right now. Yeah, kind of the same similar setup to potentially Solana and Bitcoin right there. You are still operating on lower highs. Obviously, if you do come back down and fill around just below 26 bucks, I would be looking for bounce around that region. I'm not necessarily looking for new trending lows as long as you're closing 4 hour dildos back above about 25 and a quarter. Until then, very likely does put in a bit of a rally here. I'd be looking for 30 bucks or so on the shorter term time frames. Daily, however, still under stress, I suppose, or at least under lower highs, as long as you're below about 32 and 15 cents. So I'd still kind of refrain from getting excited about it as long as you're below there. Of course, though, above there, I do look for this one to actually, operate rather well back up to the top side of its prior range highs. That's going to look really, really good for a late December, maybe early January push towards new all-time highs. But first test towards 40 bucks. So, kind of same thing as Bitcoin right here. Might get one more test to the downside. I'm generally looking for bounce from this region. Don't think that we're going to see continuation just yet before a greater bounce. I just think it's more likely based off of the statistics that we were looking at earlier, specifically with the PMARP, amongst other things as well. Bimmer says, morning, bruh. What's up, man? Can you check Sol on the daily and 4 hour and hourly? All right. I'm just going to type in symbol SOUL and hope for the best here. Phantasma. All right, cool. Interesting. All right, so I guess we have charted this one before. It's got a cool name. It's got a nice memey name. And this one's actually looking for continuation from here. It wasn't so obvious on a daily, but the 4 hour does reveal all on newer altcoins. In this case, that would be this one. And I am bullish on this one, especially as long as this one's above about 288. That would be essentially an invalidation. Looking for continuation, probably up somewhere around 3.5 to 380 or so is upon validation above your topside resistance here at about 345, even on a 4 hour close, perhaps even on an hourly as well. Yeah, I would say on an hourly as well. That actually does work out. Short term, a little bit of correction here. That's completely fine. Can trade back down towards $3 or so. That's not problematic. Below 288 is where I do say that this one gets invalidated. And at minimum, looking for a move back down to like 245 to 250 or so. And then we come back to it after that. Anyways, Sable Green. What's up, man? Haven't seen you here before, so good to meet you. ENJ, 4 hour and daily. And thanks, man. I'm glad that you do enjoy this weird piece of the internet that we find ourselves on right now. It's a fun time, man. Crazy that 2,300 people are listening to me talking about dildos on the internet. Fun times. We're talking about magic internet money that is actually nowadays used for some things. It wasn't like it was before, just a couple years ago, where I'd say, look, this thing's trading for like 10,000 bucks and it's used for pretty much nothing. But nowadays you can actually live in countries like El Salvador if you prefer. Which actually probably is quite nice. Anyways, what do we see over here on ENJ? Do you think that this one is looking a little bit still? Yeah, short-term rangey here. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's toppy, but short-term range, I would be looking for this one to essentially come back down somewhere around your 317 to 320-ish region. That's not a death sentence by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, long-term, this is good. Making new optimize is certainly not bearish, like no shit. And weekly is obviously still long-term bullish here as well, but I would essentially be looking for a backfill on last week open. I only get worried about something like this if you do start to trade below about 290 on a weekly closure or a 5-day closure. Even a daily closure would probably do it for me. Until then, all higher term timeframes still very much bullish here, but short-term timeframes kind of on the weaker side. I wouldn't get excited about this one short-term as long as you're below about 386.5. If that condition is fulfilled, I would be looking for a return back up around your prior range highs on the short-term timeframes, about 440 to 445. And at that point, I'd be looking for a very likely a good December, maybe January, something like that. Until then, short-term, a little bit more on the short term, sideways and down. However, again, not bad for the long term. So I need to be very careful with the way that I relate these concepts. Otherwise, I don't want to sound like I'm bearish on this. I'm not bearish on it, just looking for a bit of a short-term range. So it's just not that exciting short-term is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, Rishab says Merit Circle. Yeah, I remember we looked at this one last week and it was actually quite good. So let's see how it's holding up now. Let's see if it survived the last Dumpola party, and it did. Hey, not bad. Not bad at all, actually. And I'd actually still be looking for this one to fulfill its upside targets here. Still looking at the 1.618 Fibonacci extension on a confirmed breakout, of which I believe, if we go to the lower term timeframes over here, technically speaking, we have not gotten on a 4-hour. 4-hour would be above 238. Buterols, whatever the hell that number is, and invalidated below about 195, 196. That would obviously invalidate the short-term setup. But for right now, you got a lot of good things going on. Hidden bullish evidence on the last 4-hour low. Volatility is on the floor right here as it does kind of ground up against its highs. I'm still biased towards an upside resolution here with those targets in mind. Just want to see that condition fulfilled. Generally okay. Very new, to be fair, but kind of perusing around the different timeframes. Very short term, do I think that it comes back down a little bit? Yeah, that's completely fine. Again, I just don't want to see the invalidation hit. Otherwise, it will lose its more medium term setup, I suppose. But overall, a very good chart format right here, at least for the history that we do have, which ain't much, to be fair. But just be aware of the invalidation. Until that's hit, I'm generally looking for this one to kind of trade sideways and upside from here. I think this one's actually baking in rather well, and especially if Bitcoin has an upside move, you're very likely going to see this thing roll with it. But keep in mind, this is being charted versus Ethereum, so I suspect that this one, obviously versus US dollars, is doing quite well, as obviously it has to outpace Ethereum for it to rally here. Anyways, let's see what else we got. BK says CRV USD for our daily weekly. Yeah, man, let's do it. So this curve is another one that we looked at last week that was looking really, really good. Let's see where it's at. Yeah, we looked at this one yesterday as well. So it did hit our target to the upside, our first target and our second target. Beautiful. Playing out its first downside move from there. Okay, that's fine. Does it come down a little bit more though? Is the real question. And I do suspect that it probably does, or at least I would be looking for that, especially as long as below about 540. That's kind of your current range highs. As long as you're below there, I wouldn't be looking at anything too interesting short to medium term. And any sort of moves down to 410 to 420 are completely fine. I'm just looking for higher lows around that region. I'd really only get concerned with a closure below about 410 or so, below the 55 in this case. Until then, it's just another consolidation, and I'm just looking for the next higher lows. We already have our higher high. Long term, I still do think that this one very likely does make big legs up, namely because you do have the macro breakout above your prior weekly highs right here, your prior weekly range highs for the past almost a year now, or actually a little bit over a year, in fact. And that would imply, continuation maybe in late December, early January, somewhere around the low teens, even though that sounds fucking crazy right now. But of course, short term, it is still corrective here, and I wouldn't get excited about this one short term as long as you're below 540. So until then, short term sideways and down is the name of the game. Just don't want to see it close below about 410. That would be problematic. Until then, or sorry, if you were to take out 540 to the upside, I would look forward to at very minimum retest the current highs at about 6.25 to 630, and then very likely does trade its way sideways and upside from there in December. Let's see, what else do we have? What? Okay. Oh, god damn it. I got to go all the way to the bottom here. Vince, yeah, it'd also be great if people, well, whatever. Should be grateful for that people even happen to give a fuck, but it would be super easy, or at least a little bit more easy for us if people didn't send in chats until the stream started. That'd be good. Anyway, CKB USD. Sure, man. Yeah, of course we got to get him if he was first. All right, CKB spoke about this one, I think, earlier this week or last week as well. Similar setup to Curve, actually. In fact, I'd basically say almost the same things about it. Can you correct down to 2.7 cents? Yeah, that'd be completely fine. Even coming down to like 2.3 to 2.4 cent would still be good long term. Just depends kind of what time frames you're looking at right here. But overall, I still look for this one to very likely make a leg up towards the just above 4 cent region and play out that measure move over time. Let's see what the lower term time frames like a 4 hour look like. Actually still trending here, so to be fair, I should actually be looking for higher lows right around about 2.88 cent. The second that you do start to crack back below there, though, I would look for a nice move down another spot 1 cent lower, or sorry, not 1 cent lower. Yeah, there we go, and look for a bounce there. And until then, very, very similar to Curve in this case. Long term, I still like it. Well, a little bit less so actually in comparison to Curve. Long term, I would still be looking for this one to work its way up to 4 cents. That's where the big bad test is, however, which I will hold off on talking from now because it's probably going to be not anytime soon, or at least hopefully not. We just come back to it, of course. Gemini Athlete wants to look at Matic 4 hour and 12 hour, so let's see how this one's holding up as well. Is it still salvaging itself at the last critical moment? And yeah, it is. Hey, not bad right there. Gave you another chance at 150. Beautiful. As long as it's above 150, I look at this as your next higher low. Again, regains all major moving averages. The next major area to be aware of is, of course, this last spike high here at about 190, above 190. I do look for this one to trade back up towards not just pretty much this area right here, short term, about 203, 205. But ultimately, I would be looking for it to test basically your macro high range right here at 2.25. Above 2.25 is where things start to look really, really good. And we do have a measure move more long term, I think above 3.5 or around 3.5. So that's obviously going to take time upon validation, but for right now, all time frames, it looks like are finding their local lows right here. I'd really only get bearish again below this one on below about 150 on this one. Until then, daily volatility was low throughout this whole correction right here. I just want to see this one take out the 190 high with volatility also expanding, and then I want to see daily RSI back in the bullish controls. And if I see that, very, very likely it's going to test the top side of the ranges here at 2.25. Long term, maybe late December, early January, I'd probably be looking for the bigger move. But we'll come back to that one as well. That one's rather popular. Some guy says Luna, short, medium, and long term. Thanks, hot stuff. Hey, thanks, man. I'm blushing now. Luna. Let's see what Luna's doing. What's Luna's Tuna's doing over here? Pretty good. Very, very good. Very, very good. And this is kind of what you're looking at on a few of the other ones that we looked at earlier. Something relatively similar to this. Now, again, I kind of had the same thing to say here as I did, I think, yesterday. Yes, you're obviously obviously testing your all-time highs is a lot better. It's very, very good. But is it ready? Is it actually ready to break? And in this case, obviously initiate a new major trending move towards new all-time highs. In this case, I mean, I guess I'd be looking at targets towards 59 short term and more medium term 68 to 69. That would look pretty damn good. I mean, we actually do have a good setup right here because of bullish divergence on that last low. Okay, beautiful. That one's already played out. However, volatility is expanding above 50 percentile. So this actually does have a chance from here, to be fair. Let's see what the monthly looks like. Monthly would be closing in a very good posturing. If it closes anywhere here or higher, above $52 in this case, I would be looking for new highs very likely in December if that condition were to be met. See, the buy daily is closing today as well. Got another couple drives of hidden bullish divergence right here. Okay, I actually do think that this one probably is more ready than not in this case. I was actually going to say initially that this one very likely comes back down into range and spends more time going sideways and then gives you the upside move. But in this case right here, it's actually... I'm seeing a lot of good signs right now, to be fair. So how would I judge continuation? On a 4 hour above 54.5 would do it for me. Initiate those next targets over the next couple weeks. Daily above about 54, and monthly, I mean, anything above $52 is going to look pretty damn good long term. What would invalidate this one as a general good setup? Well, if you're on the daily right here, obviously your last higher low is about $40 or so. As long as you're above there, this one is generally good. Wouldn't mind another move down to the median of the range or even the bottom side of the range. However, long term, this one quite good right here. Actually, very, very good. Very mature within this consolidation, as you do see tailing off volume from left to right in this case. So whenever I see something like this, we're getting very close to the apex on this one. I think that this one probably gives you the move in the next week, maybe even today. We actually do see several confluence signals, especially on volatility indicators, that do suggest it could very easily do it today. Micah says, hey, man, appreciate that. All good, man. XTZ. Okay, so this is XTZ. This is ecstasy. That's illegal, sir. This is Tezos. And what do we have here? Let's go to the weekly. Did this one lose its structure, or where does all this damn shit coming in from? Oh no, I'm thinking of Algorand. Okay, that's why this one's kind of throwing me for a loop. For some reason, I had this one confused with Algorand. Anyways, you're looking at a daily and a 4 hour. Let's just go exactly to that. Kind of similar to Bitcoin in this case. Wouldn't mind another spike down around 460 to 465 or so, but I am looking for a greater bounce first from this region. We do have at least one drive of bullish divergence come off the lows. It'd be a lot easier if this was 3 drives, but in this case, we do have divergence, so we got momentum. We got daily. Jewel is actually giving a bit of a signal right there. Not perfect just yet, but pretty damn good. And then volatility, I just want to see it start to expand above 50 percentile. If that can happen, I would be looking for returns back up towards your prior daily range highs between about $6.90 to $7.50. Until then, short term, obviously you're still operating on rejective highs right around about 590 in this case. So even a 4 hour closure above 590, I would actually be looking for that move as well. Until then, short term, a little bit more likely to play out a sideways, a sideways move at minimum, perhaps with a base somewhere right around about 514 or so. I'm just not bearish on this thing, looking for further continuation to the downside again until you play out a bit more of a bounce. The question is, does the bounce come first from right here, or do we come back down to 460 to 465? I'll let Bitcoin be the decider of that one, because thus far it actually has had a decent reaction off of the $56,000 region. Could this be your higher low right here in the making? Potentially, yes. I just want to see a closure below $56,000, and then yes, I'm looking for fill first and then bounce. That's kind of my trigger for looking for some in that case right there. Hopefully that's helpful though. George Michael P says IOTX, and good morning to you as well, good sir. 1 and 4 hour. All right. I don't think I'm familiar with this one, but I believe I have seen it on the winners list on the app in the last couple weeks. So let's see where it's at. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Yeah, it probably was. I mean, this not bad. Generally goes up and to the right. That's typically a good sign, and has been around actually for a decent amount of time. In fact, all the way back to 2018, and it has significantly taken out its 2018 highs. That's good. That's quite good. Anyways, you were asking about a what in 1 and 4 hour. Okay, well, weekly looks toppy, but we won't discuss that. Short-term time frames, are we more bouncy here or more toppy here? Well, let's go down to the hourly as well. More bouncy here. Does it give you, it's kind of the same thing as Bitcoin yet again. Does it give you one more test down to 15 cents and then give you a bounce, or does it just bounce from here? Well, I don't really have a strong opinion on that. My strong opinion is on the short-term time frame ranges actually, which is what you asked about. So above 17 cents, even on an hourly closure, I will look for this one to return back up towards prior range highs, somewhere around about 19 cents in the following days. And of course, until then, can this one come back down and give you maybe one more spike low at 15 cents? Perhaps yes. I just don't get bearish on this one, looking for a continuation of the downside move as long as you're above about 1480 in this case on even an hourly closure. Below there, bad. I would be looking for a move down towards 12.5 cents, maybe even lower over time as well. Hopefully that's helpful, sir. Let's see, Ben0613, who is a Kiwi, which I love Kiwis, man. Both the people who are very chill, and then also the fruit. Like, it's actually really, really good. In fact, I don't know why, but we get a shit ton of it here in Finland, and it's just, I don't know, it's always good. It's always fucking good. You're looking at XCAD. Okay, XCAD, huh? All right, well, XCAD network. Sounds cool. We got a sideways range yet again. Let's see, and you're on no time frames given. Oh dear Lord, where do I go with on this one? Daily's fine overall. What do we have right here? We do have a pair of hidden bullish divergence. In fact, 1, 2, 3 drives, beautiful. So again, similar to this one, a little more similar to Ethereum, more in a position of strength in this case. Just want to see a closure above your range highs at about 737, and then I'd be looking for a retest of pretty much your all-time highs in this case at about 835 to $8.50. I suspect that you're just going to see a general macro continuation from there. In fact, I do want to write this one down. Let me just pull this bad boy up over here. See that we have 1.3 thousand likes on this video. What the actual fuck? What the actual fuck, man? What the actual fuck, man? That's ridiculous. Oh, actually, no, I can do it over here. Oh, this is way better, actually. This is way better. I'll write this one down in Elsa's chat. All right, which one is this? XCAD. Gotcha. All right, there we go. I like to follow up on these ones. Anyways, should we record this one as well? Nah, fuck it. Yeah, again, not bearish as long as you're above $5.50. And short term, this one's trending as well. It looks like, short term, it has found a bit of range highs right here. Wouldn't mind if it came back down and put in a higher low. Anywhere above $6 would look fine. Short term, it is kind of more of a pullback, however. Yeah, we are seeing several drives of divergence right there, and even the hourly jewels turning down. Not death sense obviously for the daily trend, but very likely aligns with a very short-term pullback. Daily still in a good posturing, and I imagine on the monthly, monthly actually would not say is good nor bad just yet. I have no major opinion on that one. What about the 2-day? Yeah, 2-day is pretty damn good here as well. Hidden bullish evidence is going to be confirmed or is already confirmed. I'm generally looking for this one to trade sideways and up on the higher term time frames. I just don't know what time frame you're looking at, sir. All right, let's see. Where the hell did I leave off? Oh dear Lord. All right, there we go. Found it. Sir, I'm a simp, man. What are you talking about? It's the bird's nest. Christina Maria says, for Elsa's unicorn fund. I like it. Hey, and just a nice positive message. Appreciate that, Christina Maria. I salute you and much love, Christina. Amir Alkalani says, love you, bro. Love you as well, bro. Magic USD on the 4-hour and daily. Okay, so Magic. I don't think I've ever seen this one before, and it's not on TradingView, so we can't see it. Maybe it trades versus a different pair or something. It trades versus Ethereum, so this is the best that we can do right here. And I do not know what to make out of this chart. I mean, short term, I guess you kind of got to break out right there. I really don't know how much I trust something like this. Let's see what the 4-hour looks like. 4 hours just trading side. I mean, it is an uptrend right here. I guess I'll just be looking for a look, the best that I can do on something like this is I'll be looking for a continuation of trend as long as you hold your higher lows. To me, that's 2,147,000 butyrols, if that makes sense. You know, as long as you're above there, generally looking for a continuation here. Short term, is it more likely to pull back or not? Yeah, it's more likely to pull back here. We do have several drives of bearish divergence, but I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. Daily is just not going to be a helpful chart to me. I do kind of see that you're selling off of the prior test of your prior major breakdown. That is to be expected, so maybe a bit more of a consolidation here. Long term, though, I suspect that this one's okay, but you are kind of hitting extremes across the board. So if I had to call it, more likely to trade sideways and a little bit of downside short term. But I'm not bearish on it long term. Just looking for it to likely put in a higher low and then perhaps have a good December. I imagine it's going to be massively dependent upon whatever Bitcoin does on this next monthly closure, and also Ethereum, of course, as well. John Davidson says, check SAND USD on the daily and 4 hour. Okay, let's check it out. Let's see what we got over here. Whoops, just hit my caps lock, which is not good. All right, there we go. And let's see where we at right now. Yeah, okay, so this one actually still operating rather well. Very, very, very staunch within that range, and I will be bullish on it as long as it's within that range. I want to record this one here. Here we have Sand, I think it's Sandbox, whatever it is, symbol SAND versus the dollar. And what do we have? We have a bit of a short-term time frame range, and short-term, it actually does look like it wants to take a little bit of a downside move here towards 6.5, maybe even 6.25. But I want to be very, very clear, deliberately clear here that I'm bullish on this one as long as you're above essentially your last higher low, even on the 4-hour time frame, which is 590. If 590 is hit, that would invalidate the setup for the more short and medium-term time frames, and imply moves back down to 470 to 480 or so. On a daily, however, again, I still like this. Consolidating at the highs is, a lot better of a sign than consolidating not the highs. But what do we see here? We do see still 1-2 drives of bearish divergence. Have we already played out the move from that? You could argue, yes, in an extremely bullish market, I suppose so. Daily BBWP has hit extremes 2 times now on these last 2 runs. So that'd be kind of the more hesitant view to be looking at it. But here's the thing. We have a monthly closure coming in later tonight at 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern time. And this is not bearish by any stretch of the imagination. I would very likely be looking for new all-time highs in December. Maybe December, most likely January. This is really, really good here. Obviously, this implies long-term continuation towards new all-time highs with potential targets in mind to the tune of, or I guess I already have this one done here, but let's just get rid of that. Hey, get the fuck out of my face, sir. Somewhere around $10 to $12. Kind of crazy. I mean, this is, of course, months down the road. And that wouldn't even be validated to begin with as long as you're below $8. So $8 is the validation condition. Until then, at best, you're trading sideways with a little bit of short-term downside. I just want to see some higher lows around this region right here. That would look good. If you do lose this region, then that's going to invalidate it. And let's briefly check it out from this angle over here. Just want to see what stochastic momentum oscillator says. What does it say today? Short term, a little bit more on the downside. Daily is also angled down as long as below 767. So yeah, more likely to trade sideways here for a little bit longer, I do suspect. And assuming that the monthly closes anywhere within this region above about $6, I very likely am looking for new all-time highs, probably late December, maybe early January, something like that. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful. And there you go for Sand, sir. All right, Alistrom says, Ave 4-hour and daily, please potential reversal in progress. All right, let's see. What was this? Ave. So this one was really popular about a year ago, and haven't really heard too much about it since. Let's see where it's at. And you're looking at a 4-hour and daily. Is a reversal in progress right now. Yeah, similar to Bitcoin in this case, right? It's been beat up enough to the downside. I imagine you're probably on the weekly. Oh my God, you are nowhere near the weekly 5 right 55 right now. That's kind of ugly. Is there a reversal in progress? Okay, well, you need to find a time frame first and foremost. If you're on a 4-hour, do we have a reversal in progress? Not yet. You actually have hidden bearish divergence available to you, assuming that it essentially fails below this region right here. Your reversal is not right there. That is irrelevant. It is right here above 264. Above 264, I would say that you do have a short-term reversal, and you probably trade back up to your prior range highs somewhere around 285 to 290 or so. Until then, I suspect that this one very likely trades with Bitcoin. So far, Bitcoin's having a good reaction off $56,000, but if it does lose it, I'll be looking for Bitcoin and Aave to trade back down towards, around their range lows. In this case, that'd be somewhere around about 230 to 235, I suspect. Daily, is it have a reversal? This is no. No. There's not really much to get excited about here as long as you're below about 345 in this case. And still didn't even have some bullish, some drives of bullish divergence here on even a daily, even after that last nasty move. So I expect that this one probably does consolidate more. And if you do see another run back down around your current 230 lows or so, at that point, if you do start to see another drive of at least a drive of bullish divergence, or especially two, that's at the point where I'd say, hey, this one's looking a little more like a reversal right here. But if you're looking at volatility, again, still downtrending, still in contraction phase overall, I expect that this one ranges a little bit longer. No, I don't think it's a reversal just yet. My conditions for a short-term reversal would be above about 264. Until then, I think it's ranged on the lows and probably puts it in maybe early December, something like that. Cindy Dodkin says, sending love from a hot Melbourne Arvo? What's an Arvo? What's an Arvo? Well, that sounds great. I don't know. Is that like an avocado sandwich or some shit? I think that's popular with the ladies nowadays. DYDX. Okay, sure. Let's check this one out. Yeah, popular with the ladies. What boomer thing to say? Are you kidding me? That's hip. Fuck off. DYDX. Okay, let's check this one out. I am not a boomer. Note. Oh, weekly. Not going to be much of a weekly here, to be fair. I don't really have much to make out of a weekly. Maybe we could look at a daily. Daily, hopium on this one is that you're setting in a bit of a complex low. In this case, you might even have a higher low in the making. Just don't want to see this one close anywhere below $11.50. Otherwise, send it back down to the depths of hell. And by the depths of hell, I mean $10 or so. This one will look really, really good. And maybe be able to buy you some more Arvos, because I understand that avocado sandwiches are, for whatever reason, just have a ridiculous price for what the fuck it is. Hey, as long as you enjoy it, though. I don't even know if we're talking about the same shit. Yeah, why is avocados expensive? Just another fucking tree fruit. Anyways, 1572 above there, things start to look a lot better, and I'll be looking for moves back up towards $20 plus. Until then, short term, I think at best you're ranging on the lows, and I do think that you probably put in a low right here. But hey, that'll be invalidated, and I'd be looking for significantly new lows with any sort of a closure again below about $11.50. For right now, again, more likely to trade sideways and then put in a low, trade back up here. That starts to look a lot better. Other than that, I really don't have an opinion on this one. A little bit on the newer side, obviously, just kind of perusing around different time frames. We are seeing more signatures here, very likely put in a low for what it's worth. Just be aware of where the invalidation is, because below there, this thing's going to start to look like absolute dog shit again, unfortunately. And enjoy your Arvo, sir, or ma'am, actually, ma'am. More MV1 says, yo, hello, sir. Love the nest. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's an afternoon. How do you get afternoon from Arvo? It's got to be that crazy Australian accent. Oi, Arvo, mate. Yeah, we're going to go have a great barbecue on the Arvo. Hey, and why is that not racist? But if I speak like this, that is very racist. Like, what the fuck? Why is this accent not racist, huh? Why? If someone could explain that to me, that'd be great. It's just a silly expression on the internet. That's all, man. That's all. Let's see. Zoo Crypto? Okay, okay, so more everyone wants to look at Zoo Crypto. What the fuck? This has got to be a new one for me. I don't think I have this one. Maybe we try this. Okay, it doesn't trade. It trades versus Phantom. That's the only liquid pair that you can find on TradingView on Spooky Swap. The fuck? Sir. No! We have our shittiest chart of the day award going to Zoo. Tell him what he's won. signals are fucked. Rocky G says, I can help with giving vacations, fam. Okay, email Elsa. She's gonna do the pick in there. She's gonna do the pick in here. Ben here since the cats. My fucking man, I know that you're an OG of the cave. You don't need to remind me, man. Actually, that would be a good person. That'd be a good person to have around. My fucking man. Much love, sir. ESO David says, hey, Krown, what's up, man? Could you tell me if the TA program contains the neophyte in the curriculum? It's assumed. Okay, so everything that is, I mean, technically speaking, you actually get access to the Neo program, although you don't, I mean, I don't really see why you'd actually want it if you're in the TA program, but the Neophyte program is extremely basic. Like if you don't know how to operate an exchange or define a trend, for example, then perhaps that's going to be, the proper program. If you're already past that, which I imagine most people would be even after just a few months of study, then the TA program is going to be a lot more applicable. But again, the best way to, or actually, no, your question isn't about that, so I won't say that. Apologies. I'm making assumptions here, which makes an ass out of you and me, or mostly me, I guess. But yeah, man, it's I guess mostly would be, but like we're not in the TA program. We're not going to hold your hand and say, hey, here's how you press the green button and the red button. No, it's assumed that you already know that. Like the TA program is really for people who already have at least a bit of experience and are just looking for, an actual fucking, guide to how to be profitable and are willing to obviously put in the work. Again, I want to scare people away from that more than anything because, it is going to require a lot of work and most people have like a, they have like a life. So not like me. Anyways, Epic. Okay, Epic. No time frames given. Already off to a bad start, sir. All right, Epic versus Tether. It's got a good name though. Very memed up. Okay, we're on a daily right here. See 3 drives bearish divergence off the highs. You already kind of played out the correction for there. I'm looking for lows at around 44, a little bit above 44 cents or so. Below 44 cents, yeah, this one gets wrecked. Again, until then, I'm just looking for a higher low right here and for it to bounce back up. Back around your prior range odds at 65 to 66 cent or so. Probably not doing much of or too much for a while, but yeah, you would have hidden bullish divergence if it can put in a higher low right here. I don't really know what time frame is going off of, but I do think you're going to retest this low again, at least once, maybe a couple more times. At that point, invalidation very obviously below, let's call it 44 cents or 43 and a half if you want to be super conservative. There's no other zoo chart, man. There's no other zoo chart that we can pull up on TradingView. It's not on TradingView now. Don Miguan says, hey man, I'm glad that you enjoyed the intro. I'm glad that there are some people who appreciate the old dooms over there. Yeah, fuck yeah, man. If we could do FTM, okay. Okay, just one at a time, man. We really can't do more than that. Otherwise, these streams will end up like yesterday, and I don't know, man. It just feels really bad when like people donate and then I can't get to them. It just obviously feels shitty. Obviously for them too. Like it sucks. I mean, some people a little bit more crazy than others, but fair enough. Anyways, okay, so you're looking at FTM. No time frames given. Where the fuck do you go with this one? Don't know. Doesn't matter. We'll do it anyways. Here we have FTM versus the dollar, and we will do a general overview on this one as we have another chart that is at best ranging on its current daily lows, and I would be looking for very likely another test down towards 190-ish region, but I really don't have a reason to invalidate this one as an okay setup as long as you're above 190. Now, with that in mind, I do want to be on the record as saying the weekly is somewhat concerning here, no doubt about that. So below 190, especially on a daily closure, I would be looking for big legs down, and I'm talking somewhere down around about $1.30 to $1.40 or so. Until then, a range here is okay coming into December. I just want to see this one really close above 256 before I get excited about it and look for moves back up towards your prior range highs between about $3 and $3.12. Above that region, things can get a lot more interesting long term, which we can just briefly look at some potential targets long term. Realize that the validation condition for this is not going to be had until you get back up about 312 in this case, but long term it would imply price action somewhere around $4 upon validation. Until then, I think at best short term you're kind of ranging and very likely setting up for another test down around here. I just want to see a few drives of bullish divergence, but we do have some good signals going on. This correction is coming on declining volatility. That's okay. Let's see what it looks like from this angle as well, just to double check. 12-hour remains with upside posture as long as above 208. Okay, better than not, I guess. Daily still corrected below 250, and full hour is Yeah, going to turn down below 209. I expect that this one still is kind of ranging on the lows right here. But you know, just as long as it doesn't break below 190 on a daily closure, I do expect that this one's going to be okay long term into probably late December. I think that this one goes through a more prolonged consolidation. Speaking of December, let's go look at the monthly. Yeah, this month has been consolidation. For the most part, I really only get again worried on this one below about 190, and well, we do have a bit of bearish divergence forming right there if it does confirm a local high, but that'll be confirmed as a local high below 190 especially, so that'll look pretty damn nasty. But until then, I give it the benefit of the doubt. Obviously, the trend is your friend, of course, so hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for FTM, sir. Mr. Googly Lee says, hello, sir. Can we look at HSI weekly and monthly? Sure. All right, here we have HSI. This is the Hang Seng Index, one of the major bourses of China. And I believe we hit... Yeah, so I remember we looked at this one a long time ago for you, and we called a breakdown way back on over here. I think somewhere between about 23 to 24,000, and this one is actually getting really fucking... I do think you're in a more bouncy area over here. Now, are you going to test around the lows again? It does look like it. I mean, you already are, basically, so... Here's the thing, though. You will have another drive of bullish divergence forming. So if you do put in a local low, basically anywhere here or higher, you will have 1, 2, 3 drives on a weekly. And I would be looking for probably maybe late December to very likely Q1 of 2022 to bounce back up somewhere around, 26, maybe even 27,000. Maybe this even puts in like a macro low on the monthly. I guess it's possible, although... Pretty shitty on a monthly as well. Let's see. What about a quarterly? I know that you are very high term time frames. Yeah, the quarterly is on the 55. I do think you're a lot more likely to bounce here. Probably the weekly is going to, maybe test it once or twice more. But where would I essentially invalidate that? On a weekly closure below about 22,500. So that would invalidate what I'm looking at right here. Until then, test into this region a few more times. Daily still looks like shit, actually, to be fair. So I should be looking for a continuation of the downside, but I suspect that this one's setting up for a bounce relatively soon. It's just I don't think that we're going to shoot through this area just yet before playing out a bounce, to be fair. But long term, I do think that this one is rather fucked. To be quite direct with you. Hey baby, could you grab that ginger shot that I bought in the fridge there? Nice. Got the best girlfriend ever. So hopefully that was helpful, but I do want to point this out. The reason why I say that long term, I think that is a bit fucked, is that we do have some phantom drives of quarterly divergence right here. I know you didn't ask about the quarterly, but the monthly, probably more likely to bounce first. So it just kind of depends what time frame you're on. There's just really nothing bullish about this thing as long as you're below, especially 29,000 on the long term. And we do have a pair of lower highs right now. We don't necessarily have lower lows just yet. I'd probably be looking for it to bounce back up yet again, put in a third lower high, and then, well, the inevitable most likely. Sweet. All right, cool. Let's see, what else do we have? Kirk Gibson says ILV 4 and daily. What's up, man? All right, ILV Alluvium. All right, cool. Let's see. Well, it's been around for 3 ripe old months, baby. Let's go down to a daily. Daily actually looks okay right here. Obviously, trying to the upside. You're looking at a 4-hour and daily, so let's actually just adjust that. 4-hour, again, short term, a bit of a range, but this is good, obviously. And we hit whatever measured move I had from before on this one, so I don't know when the last time we looked at this one was, but I'll just move that to the side. The ginger shot in the fridge. I do think that you're going to trade a little bit sideways and down from here, however, but it's not bad. This one only loses its structure below about 1335. Oh, here it comes. Oh, perfect. Thanks, baby. All right, nice. I will drink that in a second, but let's get through this one first. You're printing another drive of bearish divergence right there. So I expect that this one does put in another short-term local high. Again, that's not problematic long-term, or at least not in the way that I look at things just yet. Daily, just kind of ranging out the highs completely fine. Even long-term, again, I just don't get bearish on this thing as long as you're above, let's call it 1350 actually, just to make it a nice round even number. Until then, short-term probably trades back down somewhere just below 1600 or so. And I would call an upside resolution obviously above 1800 with the targeted regions in mind of, I guess 1900 to 2000 over time upon validation. Until then, ranging a little bit on the short term, but okay, long term. All right, I'm gonna take a sip of this. I have no idea what's gonna happen. I've never drinking one of these things before, but if it's anything like any of the other... Oh, it's not as bad as the other one? Hold on. I see Randy Fox. My shitcoin is better than yours. You mean the dollar shitcoin versus the euro shitcoin? Actually, recently it certainly has been, man. Really has been. All right, let me just shake this bitch up. And I'm gonna give it Good old Swigola right here. Who knows what the hell this thing's gonna taste like? Probably death, because it is it's raw ginger and lemon. Great. Oh, the fuck! Oh my god! Can't believe I paid for this.
It wasn't as bad.
Whoa! Holy shit! I don't think you're supposed to drink ginger like that. That is strong, man. Holy shit. Okay. Woo, man, my eyes are watering after that. Oh my god. It's good for you. That's what they say, right? The worse it tastes, the better it is. Mark Wilson says, ALU, please. Is this a stock? I'm hoping that it is. All right, I'm going to... oh, god damn it. Okay, it is a stock. It is a stock. Nice. All right. Is it an Australian stock or an English stock? I'm going to guess Australian. Anyways, ALU, high-term time frames, then you say 4 hour, 12 hour, and daily. Well, we have different definitions of that, certainly, but fair enough. Okay, your thoughts on holding into January and swing play towards end of cycles. I have this is a damn crypto. Fucking goddamn it. All right, it doesn't look like it's on TradingView, so that's a problem. So we can't actually look at it. Yeah, I'm typing in both the US dollar pairing and then you also did an Ethereum pairing. Neither is popping up there. Maybe you can try one more. ALU like this. Yeah, it's not on TradingView, unfortunately, man. So what you can do is you can tag Elsa and maybe try a different one, but unfortunately we are limited to what TradingView has. Unless you meant Altium, which is generally pretty good here, actually. This thing's really fucking good. Whatever. If you live in Australia, this thing's actually quite good. It looks like this one's actually ready for a break, or is pretty much in the process of a breakout. Volatility is expanding. We got momentum up, and this one's already breaking above your, actually not just your range highs, but your all-time highs. Monthly is about to close on new all-time highs as well, and volatility is taking up and hitting bullish divergence here. It's unfortunate you're not asking about this one, because this one's pretty fucking good, but fair enough. What's up, Edward Bennis? He says, I worked with Eric in Chicago, CBOE and CBOT and CME. Actually, I was only above the CBOE, but fair enough. I don't know. Maybe we met at East Bank. Good times there. Good times indeed, man. But shout out to you, sir.
He said, ask him how powerful Sarah's drinks.
Oh man, you mean series? Yeah. Man, when I first transferred over to Chicago, because I was initially on the West Coast in San Francisco on ARCA, the guys took me out, and I was like really young at this time too. I was probably like 25, 26. The guys took me out to Ceres for my first, like to get to know me and everything. and the first drink that I get is like fucking 3 times the size of anything I've ever seen before. It's like, okay, I understand what this place is about now. And that's, it's a very popular place after the bell rings. I'll let you know that. Very generous with their portions, that's for sure. What's up, Zach Fields? Everyone wants to see Elsa. Would you like to be seen? She says no. So here, an on-cam smoot. Sir, I'm straight. No, I'm gay for TA, sir. We don't do that. Or does this constitute an OnlyFans ban hammer? She actually is probably going to start to stream on her Twitch channel soon enough. So catch her over there. Or I think several people found her Instagram as well. But I don't know, man. It's up to her. You know, she wants to be a little more private, so fair enough. I can completely understand that. Someday, she says, someday. Big Boy George says, Kiora, Captain Krown. Good Kiora, Mr. Big Boy George. Hey, man, all good, brother, all good. Peace and love to you as well, man. Thank you for that nice positive message. Gotta love the fucking Kiwis, man. God bless the goddamn Kiwis. God bless the goddamn Kiwis. Yeah, there you go. Balance the statement out, right? First you think it's going to be positive, then it turns out all sorts of devilish turns. Mark Beetle says, hey Krown, hello sir, Mr. Beatles. Posted the other week about being 50 so far, about being 50, like the age 50. So far, all good. Went to Dubai and loved it. Nice, man. It sounds like you had a good time over there. We had a pretty good time over there a couple months ago. And thinking about going back as well. Fun times, man. Fun times. Oh, you're going to move your business over there. Wow. Yeah, moving over 50 is probably just a pain in the ass. That's interesting, man. I actually was looking at that recently just to know. You know, there's some things that I really like about Dubai and some things I don't. Like, it's really nice to be in a city where everything's very modern. It's basically a luxury travel destination. The people to us were quite nice, but something I really didn't like about it, man, and I think I spoke about this on the podcast last week with Jason Pizzino, but something I didn't like about it is that, you know, there's definitely a good amount of people who just kind of, you know, they'll be nice to you if like, you know, you're you're kind of like them. But if you're like one of the staff members or service members there, I don't know, man. I just saw some like kind of gross behaviors, and it kind of pulls you in both directions, because in one sense you're like, oh, this place is so clean, it's so nice, it's so luxurious, and everyone's so nice to me, but the way that they kind of treat other people is not great, man. It kind of felt like some people are getting stepped on, you know. And I don't know, man. Maybe not the best time to get into something like this, but yeah, you've probably seen it as well. Anyways, Julius Crummer says CRO versus the dollar 1 in 4 hour. And are you in Finland? I am in Finland, actually Helsinki to be exact. You, judging by your avatar, are not in Finland. You look like you live maybe in a desert, sir. Very, very much the opposite of Finland. CRO. Okay, so this is crypto.com. Crypto.com, huh? Crypto.com. I remember this thing when it was named Monaco. Oh, man, we got the correct. Oh, yeah, we got the fucking correction now, didn't we? But yesterday, I think we came back on this one. Okay, well, just still kind of hold the range right there. Okay, here's the problem with something like this. I don't know how legitimate that wick is right there. Let's go to a different exchange. Who? Oh my god. All right, well, you know what to do. Yeah, if people are gonna be crazy, then yeah, we're gonna have to send you on a vacation. Did FTX have the same wick? Okay, no, it did not. No, it did not. And this one is starting to look a little more like a breakdown. Testing the range lows again. Not a death sentence, but this is looking toppy here. I would call a full-on major top with big targets down over the next month or two, down to 45 to 50 cents. If you do see a daily closure below about 62 cents in this case, kind of the same thing as yesterday, I do believe. Let's see. I think I probably said 64 cents yesterday. I would actually adjust that to about 62 cents. I do think it's important to be a little more on the conservative side here. Until then, I'll give you the hopium for this one. The hopium is that you're ranging on the, you're just putting a bit of a consolidation range right now, which technically is true. And you might even have, no, you will not have hidden bullish evidence. Fair enough. But I would say that this one's going to look a lot better, obviously above 81 and a half cent, even on a 4-hour closure. That'll look good for another retest of your 90 cent region or so. Until then, I think it's trading sideways at best. I want to see some sort of divergences here on a low if it's going to put in a low there. And again, big problems below about 62 and a half cent. Yeah, that's kind of where this one does start to look a lot more like a major top, because you do have two extremes here on daily volatility. And you also, actually you do not have, or you do have one drive of bearish evidence, but that move's already played out. That's the easy one right there. Weekly still looks a little more corrective to me than not, to be fair. Monthly is going to be long-term good, right? I mean, this is still long-term very, very good, but could December be spent in a pullback and consolidation? I think that's a little more likely, to be fair. Anyways, your estimate in hourly and 4 hour. I apologize. Short-term timeframes, I'd be looking for a bounce off the 65 to 66 cent level. I don't think you're seeing it just yet here. I want to see at least one drive of bullish evidence on an hourly at minimum, and 4 hour, kind of same thing there as well. I think they're going to test in that region a few more times and then give a bounce. In the bounce reaction will be rather telling for the long term, but that doesn't seem like something that you're concerned with, so fair enough. What's up, Sam B? Morning from the UK. Much love, sir, and thank you. Would you mind taking a look at Cryo War? Okay, Cryo War. Yeah, just one at a time, sir. Cryo War. Okay. All right. It's on TradingView, so it's not bad. Anyways, what do we have here on? Oh, no time frames given. What do you know? It looks like we barely have any history on this thing going back to, not even a month. So I'm going to be on very low term time frames, like a 4 hour and an hourly in this case. I guess I've charted it maybe once before. It does look a little bit more short term corrective to me. And I would actually say that this one's, at best short-term corrective in this range on an hourly between about 392 and a half and 455 to the upside. Above 455, I actually do look for this one to retest for all-time highs and very likely make new all-time highs from there. Until then, I do think this one's going sideways at best and very likely to test back down around just around $4. I would not call a breakdown just yet, but if you do close below $4, even on an hourly, I would look for a decent correction down somewhere around 3.5 to 360 or so. Until then, again, sideways at best here. Long term, at least for the history that we have, it's good. It's just not really going off of much right there, as it's only been around for a couple weeks. Okay. More MV1 says the one I listed on Super Chat is not on TradingView. Instead, can Krown do CGG? Yes, we can do Chain Guardians, sir. I remember this one from last week. It was pretty damn good. And what do you know? Hey, we hit the measure move on this one. Not bad. And this one actually still actually good here long term. Short term, is it a bit of a pullback? Yes, it is. Short term, I wouldn't mind if it even pulls back down to 220 or so. I have no reason to invalidate this one on the long term, as long as you're above about 205. on a closing basis. Until then, short term, it's a bit of a pullback. Yes, that's fine. We've hit our $3 target or so, or just about. Yeah, got up to 293. Close enough is close enough in this case. I'm looking for a pullback, trade a little bit of sideways and down. It puts in a higher low, anywhere above, 2 especially, or even 220. I'm looking for this one to continue probably later in December, but short term, it is corrective here. Hourly. Same thing. Short term, very likely coming down a little bit more before the next bounty. I don't know if that's relevant to you or not, but long term, still very much like it as long as you're above this region right here. And of course, below about $2, I would look for a much deeper correction down towards 169, which is rather large on a $2 number. Let's see. There he is. What's up, Nimbo? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, brother. And what else do we have? I see. Oh, it's announcement time already. Okay, so we're gonna make the announcement right now. Please do not send please do not send in any more super chats after this moment. Actually, Elsa, could you post a message here so I can pin it? And that would look really good. Cheryl Oliver says, I want to move to Sweden. Why? I've actually never been to Sweden, but it does. I'm just told that it's like a bigger version of Finland and quite nice. It's not. Elsa says it's not safe anymore. Hey, that sounds like some far right bullshit, sir. You can't say that on the internet. Why crash? Young Emu 323 says, why crash? Sir, man, if you're on the minute chart, I feel for you, sir, but goddamn, man. Have you seen the Northern Lights? Do they make a crackling sound? I don't think I've heard them, but I think I might have seen them once when I was like it was very late at night. Maybe we saw them. It was kind of hard to judge, to be honest with you, because my eyesight's so bad. But yeah, the pain. Why crash the pain? Sir, I don't know if you're talking about Bitcoin, but if this is a crash to you, I got some really bad news. I got some really fucking bad news. This can get so much worse. This can get so much fucking worse, man. Holy shit. If this is a crash, just imagine what another $10,000 downside move will be like. Oh, just imagine, sir. It's going to feel oh so good. Oh, so fucking good. Mr. FD says VRA, daily and weekly. Sure. This is Veracity. This one's been popular as of recent as well. Let's see if it, let's see if it's pulling through. Again, still short-term sideways at best, man. Sideways at best. That is the hopium in this one. I even have the same chart here as before. 5-cent base. As long as you're closing above 5 cent on a daily closure, it's okay. I guess the hopium remains alive, but well, do we have toppy signals here? I guess not so much just yet. Maybe we go to a weekly. Weekly does look a lot more like a top, and I do think that this one will get a few more tests to the bottom side of your current range, 5 cents or so. You're looking at a daily and weekly. I do want to check out the 4 just to see. Yeah, I do think that you're going to test back down around your 5 cent low, but very likely bounce there again, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. Now, a bounce there does not imply continuation on a reversal. In fact, this one is still corrective on a weekly, I do think. If this one is going to flip around here, you're probably going to see a few more tests down around 5 cents, and then it holds it throughout December, and then gives you a rally back above basically 7.5 to 8 cents. That's where things start to look really, really good again. Until then, this one's corrective. I do believe on a daily, on a weekly and a daily as well, actually. Sideways at best, and below 5 cents, I do look for the correction to dig a lot deeper. I'd be looking probably somewhere around 4 cents or so. Not necessarily saying that's going to happen, but that'd be my condition for that. Until then, sideways at best with short term, another test to the downside, I do expect. Jack Jansen wants to look at IMX. This is a mutable X token. All right. Okay. What is it? Don't know. Doesn't matter. What does it do? It goes up and to the right, apparently, which is good. Maybe KuCoin has more history. No, it does not. Hey, KuCoin led me down right there. Okay, I guess let's go back to OKX, and maybe Huobi has a little bit more. That's about the same. Not bad here, though. Not super well. It is just been around for a little bit of time, but it's actually okay right here. In fact, this one might be even worth recording. Yeah, here we have a mutable X token, symbol IMX versus the dollar. And what do we got? Well, we do have a little bit of a short-term time frame uptrend. Now, to be fair, this one's only been around for less than a month, since 5th of November, so we're really not going off of much right here. But we do have some nice and very obvious ranges, that being between about 688 and our current high side structure right around 890. And as long as we're oscillating between there, it is, okay, and does have a higher probability of being resolved to the upside, as we do favor trend in this case. And we are seeing that this correction is coming on declining volatility, and we are seeing some drives of hidden bullish divergence off this low. Not really getting too much from that. I also have a little bit of hidden bearish divergence, but that's already played out, obviously. If we go down to an hourly, what do we see right here? Should have another drive of hidden bullish divergence. So short term, I'd be looking for another retest of 850. Doesn't really mean anything for the medium-term timeframes on this one, because there is no higher-term timeframes in this case, above 889 or 890 in this case, I do look for officially another retest of your 950 high and very likely a new trendy move towards new all-time highs. Let's see where relevant targets would be upon that validation. More long-term would be around $10 or so, a little bit above $10. And of course, invalidation on this one on a 4-hour setup would be below about 688 or 690 on a 4-hour closure, looking for moves back down to your prior range at about 580 or so. Just out of curiosity, I do want to see it from this angle just to see if this one's in a little more of a bullish posturing or not. Again, keep in mind that, we are looking at a relatively new chart here. 4-hour is remaining with upside posturing as long as above 810. So, short-term timeframes do look like they're a little bit more likely. Tries for some very short-term upside, but again, doesn't mean much for any other time frame. Daily barely even populates. If that's that's rather telling. 6-hour barely populates as well, but 750 is magical number right there. Just go back to this chart, and I'll just be looking at ranges in this case. But overall, okay. Constructive as long as it's essentially also between the 690 and 890-ish region. I just think that it takes a little more time as we do see BBWP contract a little bit more towards single digits here. Hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for IMX, sir. Magic Turtle says, hey, Mr. K, what's up, man? Hex on the daily, if you please. Oh, man. If I'm going to look at this, you have to promise not to get mad at me. You have to promise. Pretty bad. Pretty fucking bad, man. Look, is it more likely to bounce off this region than not? Maybe one more time? Yeah, I do think so. But any bounce that fails to get above, especially 28 cents, is just another lower high and very likely looking for a significant continuation to the downside. I want to always restate with this because I know that the Hex community, maybe not you and probably not you, and I do know that there's some really, really good guys in that community. Shout out to Toby Wan and perhaps you as well. But I know that they can be a little bit aggressive if you don't talk about their altcoin as anything but amazing. But in this case, I was bullish all the way from 2 cents to 50 cents, and I've been bearish pretty much ever since. I did call one bounce over here that completely failed, so fair enough. Anyways, this one, look, it might bounce here again or not. I don't have a strong opinion on that. If it bounced back up 23 and a half, 24 cents where I'm looking for, I'm significantly bearish on this thing as long as you're below 28 cents. And I have targets over the next, not that I trade this thing, but I'd have targets over the next few months, very likely down towards, at minimum, like 9 to 10 cents. And, over the next year, I would not be surprised to see something like this, which went into a parabolic blow off top, come all the way down to, 2 to 3 cents actually in the next year. Again, please don't hate me for that. I would be happy to change my opinion on this one back above 28 cents. Until then, not great. And this is, we're about to close monthly tonight, and 16 hours and 24 minutes and 21 seconds. This is a monthly reversal right here, which you've actually never had in this asset once. So, well, hopefully that was helpful. Let's see. Skating the Mystery says Harmony daily one. Daily, weekly. Saying the ticker out loud. There we go. Tickers are actually very useful and pretty damn good here. Again, we see a lot of variations of charts like this across the lands in cryptocurrency, and this one is consolidating at pretty much its all-time highs on a monthly. Now you are on a daily and weekly, so let's just go to weekly really quickly here. Is one more corrective or not short term? Wouldn't mind another move down to 21 and a half to 22 cents. 4-hour probably plays back down to the range lows. That's not what you're concerned with, though. It sounds like daily, very similar to a lot of the other names that we've seen today. What do you have going on? Very, very simple chart right here. 23 cents to the downside versus about 32 and a half cents to the upside. I get very excited above here, looking for, retest your all-time highs and very likely new all-time highs. In this case, probably looking towards, I guess that'd be a next target of 40 cents upon validation, and then 50 cents more long term. I do get bearish on this one below 23 cents on a daily closure, looking for big moves down towards 19 to 20 cents or so. Until then, very likely trading sideways here for a while. I don't think that there's anything too interesting other than that on this chart. I think at best you're trading sideways and probably going to test around the range lows a few more times, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish, to be fair. Cool. All right. Jack Asselman, good morning to you as well, my friend. Good morning, sir. Matic USD. Did we do this one already? I think we did. This one was the one that was salvaging itself again, and very similar chart, actually. Yeah. This one a little bit closer to its range highs, that being about 190, above 190. This one looks pretty damn good, back up to $203 and then 225 respectively. I only invalidate bullishness on this one below 150 on a daily. Until then, this one's actually looking okay right here. Volatility really starting to tick up after contracting for the last little bit over a month now. So this one's rather mature, and that would be a macro level above 2.25 or so, with targets up to 350 long term. Let's see. Juan Carlos says, greetings from Ecuador. Nice, man. I wonder what the weather's like this time of year there. And nice. Probably nice, says Elsa. Love the content. Thanks, man. Mind taking a look at CPAN? Okay. I will see if I can pull it up here. I'm not familiar with this one. It looks like it's not on TradingView. Yeah, it's not on TradingView. So you also put another one there as well. It's CCAR. Okay. Okay. No, it doesn't look like it's on TradingView as well. I'm guessing you're talking about cryptos or Eternal. Okay, man, you got like all the tickers here, don't you? Okay, this one's there, kind of. Okay, we have Eternal Cat. Is that the same thing? I see Eternal Up, but that's probably not what you're looking for. All right, this is the closest thing I can pull up here, and look, a healthy amount of I don't know is the proper answer for a chart like this. I have no fucking clue, man. I'm really not going off of much here. It is generally goes up, but this thing looks like it barely trades, and I guess if you put a gun in my head and said analyze it, I'm bullish as long as it's about 76, 765, 400, whatever the fuck numbers that is, butyrols in this case. But this is Ethereum versus Ethereal. Eternal Cash. Is this even the right one? Eternal Cash. Okay. So that would mean that Eternal Cash is very not good in that case, at least versus Ethereum. But again, not really grasping up much right there. I expect that all of those things are maybe just not on TradingView because they're very new, perhaps. Brian Stevenson, we just did one, so all good there. Star Wars Worlds, what's up, man? I love Star Wars. Hi, Cadena, please. Sure, man. Sure. It's KDA. There we go. Nice. Typing is hard today. Didn't get enough sleep. Not bad right here, actually, but not great as well. Still putting in a bit of a short-term high. I do think that this one will come down to your short-term time frame range at 1550, closing below there on a 4-hour, and I would be looking for a wick fill back around your 8th November lows, which is what, 13.5 to 13.25 or so. Until then, sideways is good for the Bulas, but short-term I do expect that it will test down around there. Yeah, not great on the short-term. Daily daily looks like it wants to break down towards that $13 target for what it's worth. Something like that, man. I do think that this one will actually break down around there, but I would invalidate that as a short-term bearish setup. And technically, it's not even validated as long as you're above about 15.5. I do think that you probably will put in a wick down around there, but fair enough. Would look really, really good for new all-time highs above 23.5, and short-term would look in a lot better of a position back above about 1990 in this case, even on a 4-hour closure. Until then, this one is trending down. On your short and medium term time frames, and I do expect you're going to at minimum test 1550 again. The question is, do you hold it or not? If you don't, well, get ready for 13.25 or so. Frank Nardilio says, can you please do AVAX and tell me where you think in December it could go? Oh, that's a great question. I think that's a time frame, kind of. Different definition of time frame, but hey, not bad right here, man. Not to pull your leg, sir, but let's actually record this one. I'm gonna get rid of this or actually what I should do is I should put it on this, and then we can adjust it for our current range, but we'll do that in a second. Okay, let's get rid of that. We're going to talk about daily here. No time frames given. Fair enough. All right, here we have Avalanche symbol AVAX versus the dollar, and we have a bit of a daily range going on right now. And as long as it does hold above about $100, which we did call a correction down towards, I believe it was last week, and we've gotten that thus far, this is actually still okay long term. And short term, you actually did just take out, your last little short term range highs. So this is fine. However, I do refrain from getting excited about this thing. And I don't have a time frame for when this can happen, Mr. Frank, but as long as it's below 131, I don't see anything exciting about it. Looking for, a retest of your prior optimize and new optimize. However, if you were to break above about 131, even on a 4-hour closure, preferably a daily would be a lot better. But I would be looking at moves up towards $1.45 to $1.50 before the next consolidation, over the following weeks. And then long term, can it head up towards 190 to 200? I suppose so. That would obviously be months down the road, so maybe not within your time frame. Short term, what are we looking like right here? not really getting too much from this. I do think that it probably comes back down and tests around the bottom side of your range. Maybe not exactly $100, but perhaps anywhere between about 105 to 110 or so. Still, that would be fine. I mean, I'm not really getting too much from this here, to be fair. We do have one potential drive of hidden bearish divergence short term, so I'm a little bit more biased towards a short term downside move. Let's just double check over here and see what stochastic says. Let's see. 4 hour turns down below 114 or so. Just a bit of sideways right here. Really depends on what time frame you're at. Weekly, long term. Is this a top or not? Well, I'd expect bearish divergence on a weekly high, and we do have one very long form drive right there. Not super problematic. Again, I really wouldn't mind this one back down around the range lows. I really only get somewhat bearish on this, and it's not bearish is not the right terminology because this thing's obviously long term quite good, but I'd be looking for deeper corrections if you do take out $100 to the downside, looking for moves down to 89 to $90 or so. I'd actually still like this one long term, even if it got down around there. Keep in mind the monthly is closing today. I mean, the monthly closing anywhere above 110 is going to look quite good coming into December. But I do expect that December is probably going to be a month of consolidation, and then maybe late December or early January, this one does try for another move to the upside. But for right now, good long term. Just I expect you're still consolidating for a while, so hopefully that's helpful. And there you go for Avalanche, sir. Jack says, I requested Matic USD. You already did it. Matic Ethereum. Okay. Let's see. So which one's outpacing which? I think last time we looked at this, Matic was actually looking like it was putting in a major low. And let's see if that's still holding true. Yeah. Well, kind of not much to go off of right here, but I do think that you are putting in a major reversal. I mean, you do have a bit of a higher low right here. I do think you are going to come down to this region, 3,800 or 3,900 or so. Sorry, 38 to 3,850 or so. Hey, stop that. Somewhere down around here, try for another higher low, trade sideways for a while. Resolution above, basically this last spike high would look really, really good for new trending move to the upside. And long term, kind of have to be bullish on that, I guess, against Ethereum. So that's good. I really only get bearish on this one, favoring Ethereum below about 37.50, even on a 4 hour, but really not going off of much right there because this thing's only been around for, a couple weeks, and we're looking at a 4 hour right now. I really want to be looking at it daily on a pairing like this. Can you check Meta Hero, says Matt? Sure. Okay, let's try this one. Meta Hero. All right. Pretty good. Pretty good. I remember we looked at this one last week, and, well, gonna guess that you hit some pretty impressive targets over here. Let's actually have this one for the macro scale. Yep, you did hit the 1618. So I am looking for a bit of a sideways consolidation here. Oh, this is on a 4 hour. Oh, dear Lord. Daily still, whoops. Hey, stop that. Let me just yeah, there we go. Love it. I would be looking for a bit of short-term sideways here. Does it come back down and test around 19 and a quarter or even just 20 cent even? I think that's completely fine. Long-term, I like this one, however. It's probably going to gun for some new highs in December. Areas of interest towards new highs would be on a validation of a daily closure above 24 cent. I would be looking for this one to, I guess, maybe late December, give a run towards 30 cents, maybe even more over time. Would invalidate this one on a setup. Again, below about 18 and a half, let's say. I want to be a little more generous with this one just because it is an altcoin. But you're getting your first move up right here. I'm looking for consolidation short term, trade sideways, and then upon validation above the top side area that we spoke about, that's where I look for the next move. Until then, sideways at best. Probably at least one more test towards the bottom side of the range before it's all said and done. A little bit of time there is completely fine. Frog Nation says, when you chart alts versus dollar, do you also take into consideration the Bitcoin direction? Okay, so a couple different questions right here. I love the Twitter profile. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Where's my water? Fuck, I don't have my water. Oh, well, whatever. So this question I can go at a couple different ways. So your question is, when you chart alts versus US dollar, do you take into consideration the Bitcoin direction? So yes, because typically whatever Bitcoin does, altcoins will mirror versus the dollar, and they typically will outperform Bitcoin to the downside, and sometimes it will outperform it to the upside as well. That one's a little bit less so. Thank you, sir. But we do, in the last few months here, or last half year now, I'd say, see that this market is maturing, and we do see that there are several sectors, like the DeFi sector, like the metaverse sector, if you want to call it that, those sorts of things, the NFT sector as well, which I guess isn't really what you're asking about, but fair enough. Just to kind of speak about one, are actually doing something completely different. Like we see bifurcation in the market where, Bitcoin and the majority of altcoins are going in the same direction as Bitcoin, generally speaking. And then we have like maybe a sector with, a bunch of names in it, like the metaverse for right now, which are doing something completely different. I mean, as of recently, we saw Sand, we saw Mana, we saw symbol CRO all go to the moon and beyond. And what was Bitcoin doing? It was more or less consolidating. So it's best to chart whatever chart you're looking at versus the dollar, just kind of get an idea of what it's doing, and then be aware of what Bitcoin's doing. But it could be that if you're in one of those sectors, I mean, it's less so nowadays that matters. I mean, less so than any other time in this whole industry's history, at least from what I've seen. Before it was always like, okay, whatever Bitcoin's doing, altcoins are going to be doing that as well. That's just not true anymore. We don't see that fully anymore. Rishab says IOTA, USD, 4-hour and daily. Okay. IOTA. There we go. How do you spell IOTA? IOTA. There we go. 4-hour and daily. Daily going sideways at best here, but sideways is good for the blue loss, I suppose. Yeah, sideways is good for the blue loss. Let's actually chart this one out specifically for the daily as you requested. I do like this presumed higher low right here at about $1.29. So as long as you're above there on a closing basis, I do respect this one. And I would be looking for an upside resolution after a more prolonged sideways range, of which I expect we actually do see volatility is continuing to expand from here, which is interesting to me. Because I would suggest that we're a little more mature than what I'm considering right now. Let's just double check a weekly. Weekly is good long term. Weekly volatility is absolutely crushed here, so maybe it is more ready than what I considered. I would still not mind another wick down around your prior wick lows. I mean, this, I do like the higher lows right here. Obviously, I would just refrain from getting excited about this one as long as you're below about 158, and of course below, or if we were to take out, let's say, 1.25. Let's make this one nice and easy, especially on a daily closure. I would look for this one to take out, or sorry, not take out, but play out a nice downside move somewhere around about $1.05 to $1 even. Until then, playing within this range right here is, presumed bullish on a resolution. I just don't really have an opinion as to when this one's ready or not. I must have been on a lower time frame before because the daily is contracting here. Okay, this is what I expect to see. Again, I think it's a lot more likely to go sideways here, based off of daily volatility and weekly volatility. Maybe another couple weeks, but probably in December, mid to late December, I do think that this one resolves. And above there, I do look for a retest of prior highs at $2, and well, very likely another pullback right there. But long term, well, we'll come back to it after that long term. But for right now, sideways is good for the blue laws. Let's see. Jason M says, block token, please. Daily, weekly, monthly. Okay. Symbol BLOK. All right. Blocktopia. Okay. Let's go down to a 4-hour. Still grinding up against our topside resistance right here. But that is good. And we do see a little bit of concern on the short term, but that's okay for the long term still. A little bit of phantom drives of bearish divergence potentially forming there if we do close here or lower in the next 10 minutes or so. Would imply another move back down, probably around 12 and 20 or so. Again, that's not bad long term. We obviously we got the move over here, and this topside resistance right here is not for the 4, it's for the daily. So I'd still like to see a daily closure above there. In fact, actually yesterday we got the closure above there. So I do expect that this is just a short-term consolidation right here, kind of after hitting a major level like that. Long-term, I'm still looking at moves towards 18.5 to 20 cents or so upon continuation, which this one essentially is kind of hidden right there. So what would invalidate it short term? What would invalidate it short term and make me look for a pullback first before potentially another try to the upside? That would be on a 4-hour closure below about 1190 in this case, just this last higher low right here. Below there, I do look for this one to trade back down towards the middle of the range, somewhere around 10 cents or so. Still long term, it would be okay. I just suspect that it would take more, just take a longer time consolidating. But for what it's worth on the daily, this is good right here. It's fun. More ready than not. I just want to see it like take off today though. I do want to see it take off sooner rather than later. Stalling here again for another 24 hours would not be a good sign, and very likely imply another move down to like 10 cents or so, or just below 10 cents at minimum. Let's see. There we go. It's actually a really good idea, Rishab. Okay, interesting. Liv says, wondering if regular bearish divergence is stronger than hidden. It's not that it's stronger, it's different. So regular bearish divergence can only come in the context of an uptrend. So it's going to call essentially your highs before, at minimum, a correction, and at most a reversal, like a full-on reversal. Hidden divergence, hidden bearish divergence, for example, will only ever come in the context of of a downtrend. So they're opposite of each other, and it calls your local highs before continuation to the downside. So which one's stronger? It's not about which one's stronger. The strength of them has to relates typically to the time frame used, and then how many drives of bearish divergence or divergence drives that you see there. I wouldn't say that one's stronger than the other, because I've seen both give amazing results. I do think that regular divergence in general is a little bit has a little bit of a higher hit rate, but it's not by a big enough big enough margin. Anyways, BitNick says HBAR USD daily, weekly, daily 4 hour. Love you, man. Love you as well, sir. All right, HBAR Haderpa, HBAR. Okay, USD. All right, and 4 hour and daily. Daily, this one's like right where we left it from ages ago. So we did get the correction all the way down to our prior range lows. You can see that we held on to it right there. That's fine. Long term, this one's very similar to algo as well, I believe. Range on the lows here is, as long as you don't break the lows, good for the boo laws. That is going to be implied on a bullish resolution. But here's the thing. I'm looking for volatility to trend down again. I want to see this contract. I want to see this one spend a lot more time filling out this range. And short term, I would get excited on this one back above 39 cents, and I'd be looking for another retest for your range highs. But I wouldn't get excited about this one long term, as long as you're below the range highs, obviously, which is 45 cents above there. Things start to look really, really good again. Until then, I expect that you're probably going to see a few more tests towards your 32 cent base or 32.5 cent base. And yeah, you would have hidden bearish divergence if you do put in a local high right here, as you do have lower highs for right now. That'd be your next test around your current lows. I only get bearish on this one if you close below this region right here, which is about 32 cents or so. Looking for another move down towards 27.5 cent. I'm not necessarily leaning towards that happening, and I suspect that the monthly is probably okay. Yeah, the monthly is a monthly consolidation. I mean, at the highs, that's generally a good sign. Weekly, if it does dump out, yeah, it's going to be nasty. Targets down to actually more like 26 cent if that happens. But for right now, I give it the benefit of the doubt. Although maybe I'm being a little bit too, maybe I'm giving it too much benefit of the doubt. If it does break below the range lows, we already have 3 drives of bearish divergence here on the weekly. I know you didn't ask about it, but I'm glad that I checked, because that ain't great, and that would actually have a target down around there. So if you do break the range lows, yeah, I guess I am looking towards there. Until then, sideways is good for the boo laws. And I would not front run that personally, but this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Jack, he's back. Sand versus Ethereum. Okay. Symbol SAND versus Ethereum. Let's see. Oh, we do. Okay, we have the sticker. That's good. We've got a few days of history here, and probably just looking at like a 4 hour in this case. Okay. I don't think I have a really interesting analysis of this one, or a very good one. This would be one of the times where I feel compelled to say a healthy amount of I don't know is the right answer, just because there's not enough history here. But I would say, if you put a gun to my head below 14,400, that's where I look for this one to actually confirm. I wouldn't say a major top here. It's a fucking 4 hour, right? But I would be looking for a decent downside move somewhere down around about 11,700 or 11,800 or so. Until then, I guess range at the highs is okay. I just wouldn't get excited about this thing as long as you're below about 18,000 in this case. And you will have hidden bullish divergence here if you do confirm a local low. Has it confirmed that just yet? No, it hasn't. Minimum needed to do that would be back above about 16,150 or so. Even that would be rather aggressive. Short term, it looks like it's going to test around the range lows again, for what it's worth. I don't know if that's relevant to you or not, though. Twat Moner. Twat Moner. What's up, man? Hey, all good, man. Yeah, sweet. Hey, sweet. Nice. We already got sand, so good on that one, sir. And thank you for that, man. I'm going to take another sippy sip of this, though, man. My throat's getting wrecked. Oh, baby. There we go. All right. All right, let's see. Nice name, by the way. I see Wieners. Good morning, sir. Shib on the 4 hour and daily. No problem, man. Maybe this one's worth recording as well. The old Shib crew. Oh, should we dash some hopes and dreams here? Well, let's actually see the chart first, maybe. Okay, we hit our target to the downside. Actually, on a closing base to the T, so that's good. All right, let's delete this chart and let's start from scratch here. This one actually is kind of putting in a major low right there, to be fair. All right, here we have SHIB token, symbol SHIB, and this one has played out a correction from the last time that we put a video out on this one. And so far, well, this would be a macro higher low on a weekly if it can actually hold here. And so far, so good, I guess. So I do have to respect that. Short term, 4 hour, what do we see? We do see a bit of a short term range. Did test around the prior range high, sold off on that. And we do have massive new highs on 4 hour RSI. So here's the thing. If it does confirm a local high right here, which will be confirmed with any sort of a closure below 45.50 in this case, I would be looking for this one to at minimum come back down to 4150 to 4200 or so. The hoping is that you get another higher low somewhere around that region, which probably does happen. I mean, this thing, I can't really be bearish on it, especially as long as you're closing above 4150 on a daily. And if you want to be super conservative, then I'd say above 3650. Below there, I do look for big moves down towards 28 to 2700 or so. Until then, sideways here is good for the boo laws. I just wouldn't get too excited about this one as long as you're below 5200. Above 5200, I do look for this one to go for a nice move back up towards your prior range highs at about 6150. Let's just double check over here. Okay, nothing to be aware of right there. 2-day looks a lot more like a low. Okay, yeah, I'm a lot more biased towards the upside on this one, to be fair. Hidden bullish evidence on the 2-day RSI. Any sort of a closure today above 44.50 especially, that's going to look really good for the next week to come. And I would be looking for this one to push its way through towards 61.50 again. I would not call new all-time highs or anything like that. That conversation doesn't get started until, well, as long as you're below 61.50 especially, but I don't know. Let's give some hopium for the SHIB holders out there. What are those stupid fucking video titles like? Massive warning to all the SHIB coin hodlers in the world, with all the sirens and shit. Above 6150 on a daily, yeah, I do look for this one to retest prior all-time highs. I would be certainly looking for a pullback from those regions and consolidate, maybe back down to 7200, and then long term, a month or two following that, assuming that you can even validate above 8650, then yeah, I guess I do look for 10,000 plus, or more like 12 to 13,000. It sounds fucking crazy, but I guess that's a hopium for you right there. But here's a doomium below 3650. Oh baby, send this thing back down to where it belongs, the depths of hell, somewhere back down around here, medium term, and then probably gives a bounce, and well, we'd come back to it after that, I guess. But hopefully that was helpful. Short term bullish, well, short term, a little bit of a range. More medium and long term, it's actually okay here, especially on that 2-day. I just want to see that one close tonight and confirm, and that'll look good. Just double check over here. 4 hour Stokes are up as long as above 4,300. Okay, good. Daily is actually vertical above 39. Yeah, I'm going to be biased towards a little bit of an upside continuation move here. Hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for SHIB, sir. Valentin Degen, what's up, man? I had to resub and wait 5. Yeah, we had to put a bit of a timer on that because we were just having like a lot of people coming in here and just spamming and doing all sorts of internet stuff, which, well, you can't really get mad at it, but you got to also protect yourself on the other side as well. So hopefully hopefully that wasn't too much of an issue. But holy shit, man, I see that we almost have 2,000 likes on this video. That is just wild. Again, major thank you, man. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Anyways, Mana, yeah, we haven't looked at Mana all day today. No one's asked about Mana. I'm guessing the meta derp is not looking so good for the time being. Anyways, yeah, we hit our $6 target. Beautiful. Okay, so that was days ago. I guess we haven't really looked at it since. It's actually still good here. I mean, not really bearish, especially as long as you're above 430. Short term, it's a range, yes, and you probably test the downside of the range, anywhere around 430 to 445 or so. But as long as you just don't break below about 430, looking for this one to trade sideways here and an upside resolution to be called above the 2.618 extension at about, well, basically a range highs at 516. At that point, I look for another move towards $6. Below 430, I do look for this one to correct down to $4 after that, if that were to happen. But here's the thing, man. Look at the monthly. The monthly's fucking good, man. So I would very likely be looking for new all-time highs in December, probably even January as well. This is rather good, assuming that we close anywhere here or higher in the next 16 hours, essentially. Cool. Turtle not found says, could you please check out R Fox? And thanks, man. R Fox, okay. Like Randy Fox? I see Randy Fox over there. R Fox versus the Derper, and let's go to a daily. Quite good, actually quite good. Grinded up against your all-time highs, so kind of at the precipice of a macro breakout here, theoretically speaking, which I would certainly agree with. But the question is, are you ready to break it on this exact drive? And I don't know if I'm of that opinion. It's going to test it. It's going to test it again here on a 4 hour. So I would like to see a daily closure above 34 cents in this case to really confirm it. And the reason why I'm more conservative on that is because this one, I mean, this one can really run above there if it does confirm. So upon validation, I'm looking for a move towards 43 cents. Very likely a pullback from there, and then perhaps continuation towards, you know, long term, a couple months following that, perhaps $1. I mean, this is technically a macro breaker right here. I am a lot more inclined to say that it probably does put in a more prolonged consolidation at the highs here, which would be good. Could even come down all the way to like 22, or sorry, what is this? 23 cents and still be okay. I only look at this one as a failure below 23 cents, looking for big moves down towards 17 to 18 after that. So hopefully that was helpful, sir. Prick says OHM. OHM. I saw that Ty Lopez has his own fork of this thing over here too. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign. Daily. Put in a low right here, actually. It is put in a low right here. So I'd still refrain from getting excited about this thing as long as you're below about 965, but above there, I'm looking for this one to retest, you know, 1200 plus. This correction again coming on very, very low volatility. This does imply a healthy resolution over time. I only get bearish on this thing again below about 630. And when I say bearish, I mean big moves down after that. 450 to 500 implied. Until then, sideways is good here for the Bulas. Short term, probably comes back down and tests around your lows at 750, but that's fine. I don't know if that's relevant to you or not. If you're just looking at the daily, yeah, sideways here is good for the Bulas. Going to take its time though, I suspect. Weekly is a little more concerning though. Weekly is actually a little more concerning, but fair enough. We'll come back to that maybe a little bit later. Vin says AXS, so axes. Yeah, we haven't looked at axes in a few days here. Let's see. Still grinding up against its highs, very similar to a few of the other charts that we've seen today. I'm gonna just delete this one and do a completely new one. This one in a bit more of a better posturing, however. So again, as long as it's above 107, I am long-term bullish on this one. It is a macro uptrend. Short-term daily trend, we do see 123 to the downside versus, of course, about $1.45, $1.47 to the upside. And this one is putting a higher low right here, hidden bullish divergence, and correction is all coming on very, very low volatility. So all of this is good signals for the long term. The question is it ready right now? And I guess it's more ready than not. I mean, volatility is expanding from single digits on a buy daily. That's quite good. Okay, fair enough. Short-term time frames, 4 hour. Short term, just sideways, nothing too interesting right there. Wouldn't mind another test to the downside of the range, also to the top side of the range. I don't think it's necessarily moving today, but perhaps let's go to a monthly and check what the next month is likely looking like. All right, so we do have a bit of a shooting star dildo, kind of right now. It's more of a doji, I guess. I'd really like to see it close just even a little bit above $1.40 today. That'd make it look really, really good coming into December. Other than that, if you're just asking about short-term time frames, actually 4 hour looks like it's going to give another try of the upside. So maybe you even do get that $1.40 region. If you see that by end of day today on closure, that's going to look really good for December for probably new highs. Just be aware of where the major areas are. And this one, you know, generally good right here. It's gone through a long consolidation since October as well. So 2 months. It hasn't even been around that long anyway. So that is rather mature. I'm bullish on this one as long as you're above 123 essentially. Let's see. Quant says Justin Arias. Sure. No time frames given though, so I'm just gonna do a 4 hour and a daily. Those are the popular ones here. Maybe KuCoin. Yeah, not good. Losing its structure yet again. Yeah, losing it yet again. Just always rolling over. Where do I look for on this one? Probably another move down towards 180. Let's see what a 4 hour looks like. Seen anything resembling a bottom right here. I would invalidate another downside move above 218, looking for moves back up towards 240 to 250 after that. You are on a what? Yeah, no time frames again given. So not a big fan of this chart though. I'm really not a big fan of that chart. Weekly, I'm not a fan of it as well. Yeah, I do think that this one eventually does come down. Maybe it's Gemini that has the history. Yeah, Gemini right there. Nope, definitely does not have the history. Okay, that was a fail. Maybe Binance? Nope, same thing as well. I guess KuCoin's the best one there. Ugly price action here. It is going to be getting ready for a bounce soon, but I suspect that it maybe gives you one more test around its current lows at like $1.88 to $1.90 first. Tries for a bounce there, but you know, bearish long term, especially as long as you're below 250 to 260. So I'm not a big fan of that. Yeah, not super strong right there. Very likely does bounce soon, but I think that you test the lows just one more time before that. But I don't feel too confident on that one. I should be very straightforward with that as well. Randy Fox, my shitcoin is better than yours. What is your shitcoin, sir? Link? Is it Link? Peter Lackstrom says RSR reserves rights, 1 hour and daily. It's quite the spread between time frames there, but fair enough. Good, actually quite good. Actually very, very good. In fact, I'm gonna write this one down. There we go. Cool. So this one's actually testing around your weekly range highs in this case. So you are kind of staring at a potential macro breakout in the face. Many things in this market have kind of already done this thing. And well, I expect that this one's probably going to follow through as well. Just want to see a weekly closure basically here or higher by end of week, or on a daily. On a daily, basically above here or higher, a little bit higher than here, about 55.5 cents. Above there, yeah, I would call this one a breakout. You see volume starting to pour in on this one. All momentum oscillators are bullish right here. Daily BBWP is expanding. It's all good. And the weekly is coming off of lows as well. So this is a macro move in the making, most likely. Something like this, what I'm looking for. And very likely reaccumulation targets get met. Which is pretty much around your May breakdown. So this one, again, a laggard comparison to most of this market. And upon validation above that region, there's going to be stops along the way, probably around 6.9 to 7 cents or so. And then, yeah, I'd be looking, over the next few weeks for this one to work its way up there. But all momentum oscillators on a weekly bullish as well. I like it in validation. Short term, below about 4.7 cents in this case. Let's see. Pink Croissant says, can you look at R Field daily? Thanks, man. Appreciate that, brother. R Fuel. Okay. Rio Fuel. This is definitely a new one for me. Short term is actually good. Bounce continues, very likely back up towards 6.8 cents. Daily, you said though. Daily. Daily got your higher low right here. It's okay. I'm looking for this one to trade a little bit up from here, and you actually do have a bit of an uptrend going on, so that's okay. I would only get bearish on this one with a daily below about 5.5 cents. Until then, sideways enough is the name of the game here, and I'm looking actually more short term towards a retest of yesterday's high. Yeah, I mean it's okay here, at least on the daily. Long term, can't really make much of that. And if I were to, probably not great. But short term, a little bit of continuation right there. Although, if Bitcoin does shit the bed, this thing very likely comes down with it. How'd you confirm that? Below 5.8 cents at that point. Ooh, oh, Ginger coming up, coming back down to like low 5, and if daily close below there, well, invalidated and goodbye, sir. Stars full run up says what the fuck crypto? Is there a full run up on something that's been around for unlikely very long? Oh, there is not. There is not, sir. It's only been around for a few weeks. Short term daily looks like it's a high, but not really going off of much there. I'd probably be looking for one more bounce off of your 29th of wick low right here at about 15.5 cents or so. I don't know if it's ready to break down just yet, but I'm hesitant to call like a full on breakdown as long as you're closing 4 orders above there. Now, if you do close below, which I think probably will happen over time, looking for big moves down towards 12, basically $13. Until then, I am looking at this one as corrective at best and probably bearish below 20 and a quarter. Even on a 4 hour, very short term, like an hourly, very likely coming back down and testing around this low again. I do think hopium is that you put in a higher low somewhere just above there. That'll look okay. Jay trades crypto. Thanks, man. Can you check out total 2 on the daily and weekly? So this is the total market cap without Bitcoin. Yeah, excluding Bitcoin there. And you're looking at a daily and weekly. Okay. Actually pretty good here on the daily. So I do see a base at the 55. We do have multiple drives of hidden bullish divergence. This whole correction, very similar to Ethereum's chart, actually coming on declining volatility. So I do like that. I imagine just like Ethereum, it probably, it does not have hidden bullish divergence on the 2-day, but overall, I do quite like this. Weekly, again, you potentially have a weekly low right there, again, on very low volatility. So I just want to see this one trade above last week's high. On a monthly, kind of similar to Ethereum as well. I think Ethereum chart is just easier to watch and probably judges the rest of the market anyways. Daily, just want to see a closure above 1.553 trillion, essentially looking for moves back around your prior highs. Very similar chart to Ethereum, right? Very, very similar chart to Ethereum. But overall, I'm bullish on this thing, especially as long as you're above the 55. But as long as you're above the last daily higher low, which is 1.39 trillion. Mr. Gulili, he's back. Can you do the following today completely in Hong Kong or Singapore accent? Sam BTC. I don't think I can do it right now. My voice is already wrecked, and that actually makes it a lot worse. So I have to say that for another day, man. Sand versus Bitcoin versus the old Bitcoin. Short-term corrective, looking for it to come back down to 11,200 or so. Below 10,500, I do look for the correction to dig a lot deeper, like down to 88 to 9,000 or so. Until then, I'm getting a lot more toppy signals here than not. So while I do think it's going to trade sideways for a while, it does look like this one probably ends up breaking down. Again, extremes here on volatility. Multiple drives of bearish divergence forming right there as well. I'm a lot more inclined to be looking for a major high here. Although the weekly says, while you probably do pull back long term, still looking for new highs in December against Bitcoin at least. Damtasia, we already looked at Hex USD, looking for an entry. 2 cents is where I would potentially be looking for myself, but probably not going to like that, so fair enough. And Valentin Digen says, have you considered moving to Switzerland? No capital gains tax? No, actually I haven't, but actually I haven't even put any thought into that. I don't know, maybe that's Elsa says it's cold. Is it cold? I don't know. I don't really know much about it. It's like a land of secrets there. It looks pretty cool though, and everyone seems to be rich as all hell there too. Nimbo says, can we look at oh god damn it. All right, we'll look at NASDAQ really quickly here. I don't think he's trolling, no. But NASDAQ. Okay. Well, either way, I mean, NASDAQ, look, it's closing today for the monthly, as is everything in the trade, as is everything in traditional markets, or just any markets for that matter. It looks like it is starting to salvage itself at the exact moment in time that you need for the monthly. The daily's put in a major low right here. Crisis has been averted. We don't see, or at least I don't see any major issues with this right now. I'm looking for this one to trade back up short term. Continuation probably like 16.5 or so. Let's go down to an hourly perhaps. Again, we had to shut off the, hey, what the fuck, crypto man? Sorry, man. We had to shut off the chats a long time ago, man. A long time ago. I apologize, but we can't get to that. Short term, not great, actually. Let's see what a 4 hour looks like. Not great as well. You know what? I would actually hold off on that daily statement as long as you're closing below 16.430 in this case. Hourly closure above there, I would look for that to happen, however. 16.555, and that's going to make the monthly look pretty damn good for, I guess, another fucking run in December. Sounds crazy, but until then, at best short-term rangey. And if I had to call this one right now, it actually does look like it does come back down and test around what is it, a few hours wick low at like 16.230, kind of similar to Bitcoin here. Yeah, I think I'll hold off on saying anything other than that. My voice is wrecked, and we've just gotten through another 2 hour and 15-minute stream. Just insane. I want to say again, massive thank you to everyone out there. I see that we have now 2,000 likes on this video. Unbelievable, unfucking believable, man. Again, just amazing, just fucking amazing. Much love to everyone out there. I'm gonna be signing off now. Again, Bitcoin, short term. You know, we do have some cause for concern here. Multiple drives of hidden bearish divergence come off that last 4 hour high. I'd still like to see an hourly closure below 56,000 bucks, or even just below that last hourly low. Probably does it, although that's a little bit too aggressive for my particular liking. If that happens, I'm looking for one more move to the downside, gap fill on CME, 54 to 54,500 or so, and something like this would look good. If you see a response like that, that's going to look really, really good coming into the monthly closure. If you don't see a response like that, that's not going to look good. Until then, though, you know, anything that's a higher low above 54,500, I'm still saying the same thing as the last, you know, basically week here. I'm looking for a bounce from these regions. Again, go back to the PMARP analysis. It's just, you know, statistically speaking, a little more likely at this point before continuation of the downside if we're going to get that to begin with. So with all of that in mind, I'm going to be signing off now. I want to wish you the best and the happiest yet again. Take care and, well, hopefully see you very soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, fix or pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it,